is another corporate time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer, is here. Good afternoon, Sam. Or excuse me.
Good evening.
Good evening, I should say. I'm looking outside. Look, the bats are just leaving the tower. That was the bats.
Theater of the mind.
Yeah, theater of the mind. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show.
Kenny's here. How you doing, Kenny?
Heyo, I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good to see you, man.
First, let's talk about our live podcast. It's going to be at the Hurricane Party, May 28th.
Yeah, West End Trading Company. If you've never seen the expansion that they've really done to West End to really trick out their space, they have an amazing little venue space now. They've always had a venue space, but they really sunk some money into it and made it look great. The West End is now non-smoking. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
You walk in there, it is gorgeous.
They renovated it right after Corona. Yep. They basically took that months of dead time and renovated all of West End.
Super duper nice.
So basically, the live podcast is attached to the Hurricane Party. If you already have tickets to the Hurricane Party, which is a full day of awesome bands, a street party, basically, the West End has been doing for, I think it's the 13th year or whatever.
Yeah.
15th year.
I know. I think
crazy.
we've said 13th year for the last 13 years
Yeah.
because it's been so many. You've got amazing bands, too. You've got the Agrolites. You've got Less Than Jake. You've got Authority Zero. You've got multiple singer-songwriters that'll take the stage all throughout the day.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
So we're doing the live podcast at noon. That kind of kicks it off. And so if you already have tickets to the Hurricane Party, you can get the $25 bonus. That comes with the live podcast, a T-shirt, 2 drinks. And that's all at tomanddan.com in the front.
Get yourself a Sunshine Bomb, which are delicious shots that you can do at the West End.
So how you doing, Kenny?
I'm doing well. Less Than Jake's been around for at least, 25
30 years.
30 years?
I think they're coming into... I'm not saying that to be mean. I think it's super impressive. I think it's 30 years.
I remember first hearing about them when I was in middle school, and that was like in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
Yep, formed in 92.
And they've
incredible.
always kind of stayed extremely true to their sound. Like if you pick up a record, you know what you're going to get. And there's some people that hate that. I like that. I like knowing what I'm going to get. I like getting the album and go, yeah, more of the same. And there's some bands you want that.
Yeah.
Not every band you want that, but with this band, I feel like you want that.
I'm curious, what have they made? Like
money-wise, you mean?
Yeah. Like I'm sure Less Than Jake is the type of band that I have no
consistent $150 a year since they're 10 years in. From that point on, for the last 20 years, $150 a year.
Well, each member.
Yeah.
I feel like at the height they may have made more, right?
Maybe,
because at the height of the pop, everything's.
But you spend
Depends
more.
on the record deal they had too.
But you spend more
right.
too, right? Like you buy the bus, you get the stuff, you're putting money back into the tours.
I do know their merch sales are probably through the roof because every single punk ska kid in the mid 2000s or early 2000s had Less Than Jake apparel. And I know that's not really them. I was just trying to think of like the genre
I did
of
not
people.
have Less Than Jake apparel.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't.
Me either.
I would have worn it, but I just didn't. I didn't have a lot of money, and I only had a couple of punk shirts.
You look at how unfair entertainment is, as far as it doesn't matter how much talent you have or anything. Like you look at Less Than Jake. You're like musicians. They started a band. They worked their ass off for 30 years.
And just keeping
touring,
a
whatever.
band together is hard,
And then whatever they've accumulated over 30 years, right, is, let's say, $10 million or whatever.
It's less than the Island Boys.
Then you Cash Me Outside girl.
Yeah.
Why did I knew you were going to speak of her?
Yeah.
She went on Dr. Phil, said Cash Me Outside.
Well, she was a punk ass.
50 million.
Yeah.
1 million in one day.
1 million in 1
million.
hour. 50 million in a month.
Yeah. Whatever it is, it's just unfair, right? Like, what'd you do? I said, "Cash Me Outside." I'm Dr. Phil.
Well, that's not what got her the money.
Well, that's what made her popular.
I'll tell you
and
what.
then what got her the money is OnlyFans.
Well,
but the only reason they paid that is because the popularity of Dr. Phil.
Well, what got her the money is that she's very attractive and she had good side boob. That's it, right?
Yeah, but she's not the most attractive.
She's put out albums and she toured.
She's not a bad
They were
rapper.
successful, sold out
She's not
tours,
bad.
by the way.
Yeah, but
Her
the
rapping isn't
majority of her
terrible.
money was made on OnlyFans. Dr. Phil.
Whatever happened to Rebecca Black, who did Friday?
I know.
She
poor
is
Rebecca.
a lesbian now, and she was incessantly bullied about that song, and it was traumatic for her.
What's crazy
and
is
now she is I think she's all about like LGBTQ rights.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
though.
I think she's using what's left of her fame to be a positive person, but I think that she's pretty open about that it was traumatic and that she wanted to like harm herself. And
what sucked is
bad.
that was like a gift from her mom. Like her mom
Yeah.
bought the rights to go into the studio, use this guy to write
it
the
was
song.
a parent supporting her dream of being a pop star, and it was shat upon so hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I did. I mean, I was like, "This is garbage." Everybody did. We all did. We should all be ashamed of ourselves. She was just a young girl trying to live her dream.
Have your boys heard Friday?
No, they're unaware of
Maisie's
most
favorite
things.
movie is Friday.
Ah,
So
all right.
there's that.
Great movie.
So Kenny, how's drone racing going?
It's still in the off season. You asked me that
No,
the last couple
well,
times.
that's all we can know about
Well,
you.
they're hoping to pick
Wow.
up some. They're hoping to pick up some people that went to waivers and pick up some of the drones that you
moves
might
going
have a
on.
couple more years in their blades.
I'll say this: it picks back up in August, but you're still going to forget and ask me about
Yeah.
it. the next
Yeah,
time
he
you
will.
come here.
Oh yeah. He thinks you only do the drone thing.
Yeah, if I was a drone racer, I was like, do we need a season for this?
You're becoming a
fly every
natural.
time.
You're becoming a natural Norm Macdonald in that he said he goes he'll forget it the next time I come in. You were like yeah. You're becoming a natural Norm. You're like right yeah.
Well, what I have been doing outside of it, in my entertainment business, I've gotten into commercial acting, and I'm not saying I'm like a huge commercial actor or
Awesome.
whatever.
What are you in?
So I'm in the
Sky
background.
Rizzy?
I'm in the background of a lot of Disney commercials. So like whenever they talk, you see like those.
Put the pedophiles in the background.
So they'll like have families riding the Dumbo ride or whatever. Well, they need other people to fill out the rest of the Dumbo ride. So like
Is it just you by yourself on Dumbo?
Well, no,
Oh my God! There's a pedophile on
sketchy.
Dumbo.
I got binoculars like looking at the family in front of me.
Aren't you a large actor? No offense. I mean, most actors are like my height, right? Like
it's
most
hard.
actors are little guys. You are a jumbo actor.
Well, that's why I see. I'm never a feature.
You're Jumbo
actor.
Dumbo.
I'm never a
They have
feature.
to put him in the back because he's so tall.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm always in the general population because they want people that look different heights, sizes, ethnicities and stuff. So I've done some Disney stuff, random other, sitting in the background.
That's
in
cool.
audiences. But one of the ones I got, and it actually almost ties into, you guys talk about Oculus all the time. I got a casting
no,
thing.
we're done with it, right? Like we're.
I
think we're done with it. I think it burned real.
I put it on one time.
Yeah,
I
mean,
liked it a lot.
All I needed to do was put it on. I went to povr.com, which is your industry leader in POV
I'm
VR
gonna do that
porn.
later.
Yeah, and I watched one, and yes, it works, and I was like, okay, I've seen the future, and the future's now.
Well, I get a lot of these commercial things, and they want uber specific things. It's like, are you a Latinx family with 2 LGBT members and an old grandma?
Yeah,
Well, then,
Latinx is no gender, right?
Basically, it's they want either male or female. They just want someone Latin.
And young.
Yeah,
I think,
exactly.
primarily, yeah.
So they ask that. It's like, oh, do you have a broken toe and live in the New York City area? Like, it's very uber specific. So one of the ones that I got was for Oculus. They want long distance relationship couples who each have an Oculus, and they
Ew.
want to do a commercial with real couples
Yuck.
about being able to have a long distance relationship
All right.
using the Oculus.
Yeah, God, what are they going to film? You can't put any of that commercial on television.
So immediately I'm thinking, okay, they're going to want to do the whole, it's like, oh, let me see your new apartment. Oh, let's have dinner together,
Sure.
kind of stuff. But we all know what
Right.
is going to be
Yeah.
used
Yeah.
with that.
Otherwise, you just FaceTime.
Yeah.
Right?
So, let me ask you this.
smell it.
So, my dream is the sex helmet. I'm sure you're familiar.
Really?
Kenny.
I thought we killed that with the Oculus.
No, well, it doesn't do the thing that
You want it to do,
yeah.
yeah.
He's like, he's like, oh. I said, like, that didn't make me.
Mind your voice. Careful on the groaning.
He needs the lightning bolts flashing through his
Yeah,
eyeballs.
yeah. Whatever was
That's
happening.
how you know
to
it's
him-
working, right?
Yeah. When I put the Oculus on, nothing. I
Like,
was
so the
standing
lightning
there like a
bolts,
statue.
The lightning bolts are like Head and Shoulders tingling. That's how you know it's working.
Yeah.
Because it's like the synapses are happening in your brain.
It didn't make me feel it. That's what I want. I wanted to.
Oh, you didn't feel anything when you put that on, and
I just looked.
and Riley Reed's bush was like right. You didn't feel nothing.
No, I was looking
I
at it
felt
like a
some
statue.
things. I didn't. I was like,
Yep, that sure is a bush.
So when you put on
Chuck's out.
the VR, like I went into the Horizons or whatever, and there's just a bunch of avatars, like from the waist up.
That
You know what I'm
kid's
saying?
jumping up and down while Guns
I
N' Roses
hated it.
played.
So is that what you're seeing when you do long distance relationship, or is there a way to actually see the person you're talking
See,
to?
and that's why I got really interested in it. Unfortunately, I don't obviously qualify. I'm not in a long distance
You
relationship.
could have lied.
Fake
Well,
it.
I also don't have an Oculus, so
Well,
that
I have one.
Well,
you could
let
have
you borrow
lied.
it.
I have so many. We have tons of them over here, and we're done with them. We're like, that's our the ship has sailed. Why do you think we were giving them out to our listeners?
We only give them to 1095ers that are local.
Is this for a commercial?
yeah, well, it's supposed to be a commercial. I'm pretty sure for the actual Oculus headset. So
Or
it's
what-
like you could do more than video games.
Why do they need real life examples?
Couples,
It's just,
yeah.
just hire actors. That's what
I mean,
commercials
Facebook has
do.
been,
Yeah, it's
they've
odd.
been lying to
Just
us and
pretend.
controlling the narrative for years, and now they want an authentic commercial.
Yeah, but I guess it's almost like those Match.com or those eHarmony ones where it's like, oh, these are real.
hate
They're
that
not
old
real
man.
couples.
I hate that
I don't
old man
believe
where it's
that.
like, this could be. Yeah,
An
he's-
everlasting.
yeah, and he's like, over 1 million people have met, and only a few of them have murdered each other. A handful, if you will.
Well, I will say back in the day, like 15 years ago, and I was like super lonely. I did those eHarmony stuff, and
How old are you?
I'm 37.
You're too young for that.
Well, again, I was really lonely at the time.
37.
Yeah, 15 years
This was
ago.
15 years
He's
ago.
a middle-aged man.
I guess. I don't know. I don't feel 45.
Well, yeah,
So at 25, you were doing it?
yeah. Well, because I'm
That's
sitting
ultra
there.
desperate. At 25, I was still like, I just had the wrapper on my peen. I was fresh.
Well, no, I mean, I was done with my wild child days.
Now you want to settle down
Settle
with
down.
eHarmony grandma?
well, then I sat there and God, if you found love on it, God bless you. But like, man, there are
Hard.
It's rough. I
It is
heard.
the weirdos.
I'm glad
of
I never had
weirdos.
to do that.
And I'm an extroverted
What
weird dude.
You know what I think's on there? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I think everybody on there's like the lady, the correctional officer, the lady that shot herself in the police chase. That poor lady, Mrs. White, whatever the correctional officer White, whatever her first name is. I think that like we all know that's like that's a tragically sad story,
Yes,
right? Of
yeah.
how of ultimate loneliness. It was either cats or shootout.
It also
Go with cats every time,
Yeah,
right?
always go with cats.
like if you think about it, especially people like young people are different because they've experienced a different world than people our age. Like we grew up without the internet, without social media, right? So it's like if you're in your late 30s and 40s and you still aren't married or whatever, then you're turning to dating sites, right? But that also means all the group of people are in your same situation
Right.
and have turned to dating sites, which probably means that for whatever reason they didn't find anybody. But that could be a variety of reasons, luck and other things. But it also could be like, maybe you're hard to be with.
So you're dipping your toe into Kevin Samuels territory, that YouTuber that just died recently.
What?
That guy, the black guy, Kevin Samuels, you never seen this guy?
I'm not sure.
Man, y'all don't stay up on your influencers. Yeah, this guy was, women, especially
I
black
don't watch
women.
a lot of YouTube.
Black women especially hated this guy because he would just always talk about how if you're 30 and you're not married, well, you're damaged and you're what's left. You're like,
Jesus.
Yo,
All right, that's what I'm saying.
That's exactly what you're saying.
I'm the Kevin Samuel podcast.
Yeah, you're white Kevin Samuel.
That's what I want to be known as. Anyway, so then everybody's in this, group of people searching for people that probably makes it harder because now you're only connected with people that also had a hard time finding relationships. And why is that? Could be a variety of reasons.
Well, and in like what 2000,
Big portion of them crazy.
2005, 2006, like it's a lot. Tinder wasn't around, so there were no hookup sites or whatever. So I remember a first date. I went to pick up this girl, and it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna go to her apartment, but then
Yeah,
eat at a restaurant
Kitty
nearby.
striking fast.
So
That's that drone dude.
We go to her apartment, and she's watching Wizards of Waverly Place.
That's a good show.
With her cats. dates, and she wanted me to sit there and like watch a marathon of it with her, and that was our first date. And I was
Don't
like,
sleep on Wizards of Waverly, man. Not bad.
Oh man, I wish Tom had to experience some of this stuff.
He
Just
never
the
dated.
awkwardness of having to sit in
You know,
some random girl's apartment.
In a weird way, I can make an argument for Tom being the best at dating because he just had a hot lady swoop him up and take care of him for the rest of his life.
That's just a second mommy.
I had to work, but I had to work. I had to find Andrea. This guy, like, literally, she saw him and she's like, that's my boy. And that was the end of it. And there's something to be said about being able to control women like that. My hat's off to you, sir.
Yeah. If my wife ever divorces me or dies, I'll be just sitting in my garage like my pop-up. You know, you never got remarried.
I'll let you stay in my garage.
No. I'm never doing all this cat lady dating and
just play solitaire on your old Gateway computer.
How many dates would you say you went on from eHarmony or Match?
Oh, like 2 or 3, and then I was like, this is garbage.
Now, we do hear
Were
that
they all cat ladies?
Pretty much.
No, right? Well, there to go.
They're not all
Now,
cat
if you
ladies,
ask a female
rhymes
on
with
the
cat
dating
lady.
sites, it's all guys sending random D pics.
Yeah.
You know, so you got your
Well, yeah, but
you got your
again,
cat ladies and your D pics.
back in like 2000,
feast or famine.
Right.
back in 2007, though, you couldn't really do that unless you sent it via, AIM.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
Or an
anything.
email.
Yeah, exactly. So there were no, photo cell phone cameras around.
What's the best dating app right now? Like, what is the industry standard right now that everybody's using?
Besides Tinder?
Nice.
Well, I mean,
Probably like
dating. I mean,
Hinge.
dating. Tinder's not a dating app, right?
It's meant to be.
Right.
But no,
It started out
Yeah.
supposed to
Tinder,
be that.
Bumble's
but-
another one.
Yeah, Bumble, Hinge.
I think Hinge is the one that actually does try to focus on dating.
Yeah.
But it's all the same. It's all just, do you want to see my D?
Yeah, Hinge is weird to me because it's like I think Hinge, I think metal, I think jail. Like Hinge, I'm like jail. I don't know why I think that.
I heard something that made a lot of sense to me where that young people are kind of being influenced by social media, obviously, as they grow up. And then there's like this psychological effect of similar to TikTok. It's like you just keep swiping to the next video and like in like dating sites, you just swipe to find the next person, and you just like keep swiping. So then that transfers over to real life that when you like go on a date with someone, you're constantly thinking there's someone better next.
So
you
your
know what I'm
brain
saying?
wants to instantly swipe this date out of the way and get to the next one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you're like,
Makes it a little too easy.
Because no one's perfect. Think about it. Like everybody that finally settles down with their partner.
There's a reason they call it settling down. You are settling.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I gotta have a better
yeah.
woman than I have right now, but I can't have a woman that has all of the qualities Andrea has. She's a 60 in every category. But I could have had a 100 in one category and like 10s and everything else,
It's like
but I
when
didn't want that.
You're creating
Yeah.
a character in Madden. It's like, yeah, he's got 99 speed, but his vertical is, 3
Exactly.
inches. That's not good.
Yeah. I think of like
you and I are both the Kevin Samuels.
I for sure can find someone better than Crystal out there. Like it's
Well, it's so
almost in
easy.
my mind.
It's
Well,
so our wives
the
are so
problem
easy to duplicate. They're like a dime a dozen.
too lazy.
Last time
to
I
do-
said this, I got hate mail. Remember last time I said this? Dom was on here.
You
and
guys
I-
do not respect your wives.
We don't respect
that's
our
right.
wives.
It just for me is like so much work. Like, oh, what am I gonna go out there and start trying to find?
Oh,
don't
the only way it would work out with less work is if she did die, and the only thing that would offset the amount of work I would have to do would be the amount of sympathy you guys would give me, which would be the only thing that would offset the amount of work I would have to do if Andrea died.
They
If either one of your wives died, we'll have to get you guys a conservator because there's no way.
I was just gonna move in with you and your husband and have
Nah.
you guys adopt me.
No.
as like
Team no kids
you're
and
like-
team no old men.
But I'm like but I'd be like old kid. See, it's
don't want
different. Team old kids.
Just put a cot in your back porch. That's where they'll hang out.
You won't even see me come and go.
so I
I'm
could
like a raccoon.
I could definitely see that aspect of like trying to always just find someone better, especially now. It's like think about before you were attached to social media and like you only knew the people around your area in your town and stuff. So it was like that was your world. Like
And
who else are you gonna meet?
Your dating pool was like Melrose Place. That's definitely dumb, old man. It's like you only have what you have. You only know 14 people, so the chances are of you dating all 14 is pretty high.
Yeah, or it's like there's only a certain amount of options, but in this like the world we live in, there's unlimited options. There's unlimited everything. It's like
dating someone on
so
the
you
other
don't
side
believe
of
in
the world.
soulmates. You don't believe in soulmates because a soulmate. I mean, just the concept of that is insanity, right? Like to think that there's only one person out of 7 billion that's yours.
No, yeah.
Carmen Morales even talks about that in her special a little bit. Go watch that on HBO Max. But I'm just saying.
There is like studies that like arranged marriage couples are actually happier, like because like not having a choice into who you're marrying actually works out better psychologically
I wish
for
Kenny
you.
wasn't married. I'd do an arranged marriage with you. I'd figure we'd find somebody and do it.
Oh, I thought you meant you and me would have an arranged marriage.
I think we'd be a great match.
Listen, you can spend all my money on your flight simulators.
Yeah, I think we would get along swimmingly. I'm open to that.
People are their own worst enemy when making choices. Like they choose the person that's wrong for them because of whatever damage they have or whatever. Like they choose the person that's like their abusive stepdad or like that kind of thing causes you to make wrong decisions. And it's better. You'd almost be better off if someone just chose it for you, and then you just dealt with it.
It's like when you don't know what to eat. It's like just pick something.
Yeah. And then you pick the wrong. You're like, oh god,
it stinks.
So going back to the commercial thing, and I know Tom, you don't necessarily believe in fate, but there are often
he doesn't believe in a lot of. The list is getting
He
so
has no
long.
beliefs.
That is
He has
true.
no beliefs.
It's the longest list.
But I was in a.
He doesn't believe in lists.
I just believe in what's real.
I was in a background acting for a Perkins commercial.
Yes.
And it's one of those, again, you have to sit with random people to pretend that they're your family.
Were you eating pie?
No, well, you had to fake eat, so like you had to like poke at it and a bit,
You
maybe
poked
take like
your
a
pie
little.
too much, sir.
They didn't even let you eat it.
Well,
Can we get extra number one, an extra piece of pie, please?
You could,
poked
but
us.
you're there for like 2 hours eating like the same slice of pie, and it's just
Perkins has good pie.
It does, but you're sitting there like, and I was sat across from someone who was roughly my age because they want to portray us as like a couple.
You fell
or whatever.
in love, didn't you?
No,
Oh.
they were a really terrible, awful person because they had the whole. It's like, oh, I'm going to be a superstar, so I'm going to try to overact in the background, and then the director's going to notice me.
I have COVID and I'm here.
But then it's one of those where it's like I see the booth over, and it's like a couple of cool dudes, and I was like, oh man, what if I just sat with the cool dudes? Like how maybe my life would have been different, and I would have had like best friends forever.
Did
if
you
I
tell
sat
the
with them.
person where you're like, hey, you're overacting?
Well, the directors were like yelling at everyone in the background not to make too much noise.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that you have to do the whole thing where you like mouth conversations to people.
What
like,
What do you say in your fake conversation when you're pretending?
sometimes, in order to actually talk, you just talk really low. You're just like, what are you doing later? Do you have another?
It's kind of how I talk to my wife because she's intimidating.
But,
especially after I say horrible things about her.
You're getting to know them, but you're really getting like just false stuff. Like, oh, what do you do for a living? Do you have another gig after this? Where are you from? All that sort of stuff.
I don't want to tell you nothing. I think you're disgusting.
Do you get any satisfaction at the end when like you leave?
And cut.
Like I always wondered this. Like, so you're you want to be an actor or an actress, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like you are trying as hard as you can to eventually, I imagine, be an A-list movie star, right? Like that's the goal. You want to be.
It'd be different for different people.
Could
but
be, yeah. But you want to be a professional actor
across
so
the board to be in major productions.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So you have to like pay your dues in a lot of instances and do those like jobs or like extra jobs or whatever, just like get your foot in the door or whatever. But I always wonder, like, do you feel like you did it at the end of the day, or is it just like this is what I have to do to work my way up? Like, do you get any pride out of like, oh, I saw myself, I was doing a good job in the background.
Do you see yourself in the commercials?
Yeah, you do, but a lot they use that soft focus, so you're always blurry in the background.
Like, do you ever, like, say to yourself, like, I did a good job pretending to talk in a
I'm the
diner?
best at fake enjoying
Or do you
Dumbo.
get, do you get mad at it?
Well, now for me, because I'm not trying to be like a full-time actor, for me it's a paycheck. It's a side gig paycheck,
And it's just
like,
fun for experience.
Exactly, and it's cool to just like be in the environment and see all that. But there are some people that are trying to stand out, and 99 times out of 100, if you're gonna get a featured actor is what they call them, it's really just they look around, they're like, oh, you have the look we want. Like, it's not that you have any special skill set or you've been acting great. They just like, oh yeah, we need a blonde, young female. Here, you sit up front. That's literally how they do it.
It's like in the ride Soarin', there's a welcome video, and in the welcome video, they're telling you how to stash and stow all your gear, you know, and they chose a fat man who's bald, and they make him remove his Mickey ears,
Yes,
revealing
I'm
a
familiar.
shiny head, and he's big and fat, and they bully him. They're like, and even these little beauties. And they put his ears down below, and then he's just standing there, and it's like, you have the look we need, which is fat, bald dad. And I always feel bad for the guy. I'm like, they're goofing on that dude.
The only thing I did have pride in, and this was, again, back 2004, 2005, LG started coming out with cell phones, but they started it out in Europe. So they did like a bunch of print shoots and commercial shoots that I was in only in Europe. So like if you can find an old like LG manual for one of their phones in like Italy or whatever, you'll see me like smiling on a flip phone, pretending to talk.
You're
and all that
Italian
stuff.
LG man?
Yeah. That was the only one I was quasi proud of because I was like, oh, I'm like,
You know, in
the
Italy,
face.
I'm Mr. LG.
Every once in a while, and I know they did a documentary about like some musician one time, but like people will get famous for something in a different country and have no idea that that's happened. And
I think it happened to Hulk Hogan.
They were
Oh yeah, I shared the air conditioner commercial with you guys with Hulk Hogan in Japan.
Well, even besides from like famous people that like there was a musician that had like limited fame in the United States, like the song never took off, but for some reason in Australia, I think it was like that, or South Africa, something like that. They did a documentary about it. And it was huge. It was a huge hit. But this is like pre-internet, so he had no idea. And then finally he caught wind of it and like went to Australia. But this guy was like a nobody in the United States, and he went to Australia, and people were like, "Oh my God,
Yeah,
it's the
you,
guy
it's
here!"
you.
Like,
Yeah.
because his song whatever hit, and then he was like, I think he may have moved there or whatever, but like it was just some super famous song in Australia or whatever. Like, and I feel like that may happen in other instances where some like even in shows, like your show's a flop here, but it gets picked up in somewhere in Europe or South America, and then people like it down there for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And now you're like the star. You have no idea.
Well, the stigma is gone because I think pre-internet, like you would never see Robert De Niro do any sort of commercials in the United States. It would just be overseas because he knew,
Nobody would see it.
Yeah, I'm keeping my aura, I'm keeping my prestige here in the U.S., but in Japan I'll sell light bulbs and I don't care. But now that mold's kind of broke, so now you're seeing Matthew McConaughey doing Lincoln commercials.
Sure.
You're seeing like these big name superstars do commercials now, which you wouldn't see like when we grew up in the 90s.
Yeah, you're seeing I see it a lot on local commercials where they'll get somebody that is like mid-tier but high to mid-tier, and I'm like, how the hell did they get that guy? Like, they'll get blonde guy, played for Green Bay, blonde.
Brett Favre.
Defensive player.
Clay Matthews.
Thank you,
Clay
Clay
Matthews.
Matthews. Like, they'll get a Clay Matthews level. You know what I mean? Like, not quite top tier, but still good. And then they'll get him to do like a local air conditioning company, and I'm like, how's that? How the hell did you get that guy?
So I know you guys don't watch YouTube that much, but if you ever want to go down a wormhole, bad athlete commercials, because like there's an old one, Scottie Pippen doing like a Chicago sub shop, and it's a local commercial, but it's Scottie Pippen. He's not an actor, but he's got a fame and everything.
Yeah.
It is the worst commercial acting ever. Joe Flacco did one for like a Baltimore Pizza Hut.
Flacco.
It's like, yeah, you can go down the YouTube rabbit hole of just bad athlete acting.
Do you think that day and age is going to be over? This may sound stupid, but it's like people are real. Like, for instance, you used to just get celebrities to do your commercials and endorse your product, right? But now I feel like the society's smart enough to know that, like, Patrick Mahomes isn't drinking Budweiser or whatever the hell, he's not doing Budweiser commercials.
No, but I know what you mean.
He's
Yeah.
not drinking Mountain Dew or whatever the hell, so
They
it's
don't
like,
do a lot of those anymore because they know they don't add up.
or like Bill Belichick is talking about Subway or whatever. It's like Bill Belichick, he may eat Subway, but you didn't even know the name of it. But it's like
I think he eats a gas station
Tom Brady
ham sandwich.
Tom Brady did Subway recently. It's like
Yeah,
the guy is
he's all
known
over
for
it.
not even eating strawberries. He's not eating this garbage.
But
It's stupid for him to even say it.
That's a bit of an asterisk, though, because in the commercial, they do make fun of the fact that he doesn't eat bread. So like other people are like,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
eat. So that one's it's a little tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
You don't also eat the disgusting gray meat or anything they serve there.
That is true.
You won't even eat their tomatoes because they're gross.
Do you think Patrick Mahomes uses Head and Shoulders though?
I do.
No.
I do, but only on his pubes. I feel it. Yeah, I think he does because it's free shampoo and it's shampoo. And he's like, when I look at Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my
yeah.
God, you're a teenager. He's like in the Madden, in the opening scenes of the Madden video game, he has acne on his face. That's how young I think of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, my God, man, what is he? 26, 7,
Yeah.
28?
No, he's younger than that. Yeah, he may be.
He's a baby.
I think no, it's like his 5th, 6th year in the league. So
Yeah.
it's 26.
26. Yeah, he's a child. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I think he probably would use it. Or if he doesn't use it, he at least puts it in his guest rooms, right? His guest bathrooms. He's like, free Head and Shoulders.
I will say, working with athletes, they do have guilty pleasures. Like when Hito Turkoglu was on the Magic, he would go to Five Guys Burgers all the time and just like scarf down double cheeseburgers.
Mm-hmm. Turkey
Yeah.
burgers, though, they say Turkaloos.
There's
Don't laugh at that.
Sorry,
It's not even
sorry,
remotely funny.
Tom. The dumbest promotion that the Magic did was they had glue sticks, and they were Turco glue sticks,
Yes.
and they gave those away to everyone.
Hold on,
in
who thought of
attendance.
that?
that marketing department. But like,
Write down glue sticks.
if you work out enough, you could eat whatever you want. But now, I feel like nowadays, all athletes are realizing, like, this is my career should be, this is my business. Everything that goes in my body should be healthy.
Except for
and,
baseball players.
Should be, but again, they still have those guilty
You're right.
pleasures because unless they were Todd Marinovich Robo QB growing up, they grew up eating McDonald's. They grew up eating Marshawn Lynch ate Skittles all
Yeah,
the
you
time.
gotta treat yourself every once in a while.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
You
And
do.
you can't be eating that all day every
No.
day, but
But it's like Seth. Seth eats super clean and used to do cheat days. I guess
He doesn't do cheat days anymore because
Well-
his hypochondria is so bad
yeah,
he can't
that's
cheat.
a mental
Is it
disorder.
He can't
hyper-
cheat.
Well, he said that it was like messing up his system because like if you eat super clean and then all of a sudden you have 2 Five Guys burgers, you're gonna just have diarrhea.
explosive diarrhea.
But
you're
I
gonna
also-
feel like garbage. You're gonna be like, oh.
I also know people that
So it's
eat
not even
super
good.
clean, and then when they go to do a cheat day, instead of doing what Seth does, they just have a normal cheat day. Like like they go to Outback and like,
Yeah,
what'd
don't
you
go
have? It's like,
overboard,
I had
yeah.
a hamburger and some mac and
He'll
cheese.
eat like 2 full pizzas, a
Yeah.
Stromboli. It's like,
Yeah,
calm
yeah,
down,
too
You
much.
man.
watch and then
Eating
he's like,
competition.
I barfed everywhere.
A
It's like,
pint of ice cream.
yeah, you ate 9,000 calories. Like you ate 2 extra large Supreme pizzas.
The weirdest though, like people whose cheat days, and I remember listening to Mark Marrow, who goes, "Oh man, my cheat day, I would eat 2 chicken breasts instead
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
one."
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, that's
No,
not
it's not even that bad. The last time I talked to Mark, he was talking about like his guilty pleasures and the stuff that will derail him on a diet. And he'll get, and this isn't even that bad, but he was like, "Oh, double dizzy is so bad. I'll get a whole pint of moose tracks and I'll eat the whole thing." And I'm like, that's not that bad. A whole pint's like 600 calories, like a little guy. Like that's nothing. You're a genetic freak. You can eat whatever you want, Mark Marrow.
No, well, he could eat past his genetics. Plenty of people do, but yes, with how much you work out, it doesn't matter.
But my point was, is that he was saying that was terrible. I'm like, no, you should see what I do, and I'm not even working out.
What do you guys want to do? You want to do some voicemail?
I like it when he helps us with the voicemails.
Let's do that.
Because I think Kenny brings a little bit of like you're a little more even keeled and stable than Tom and I are. So let me grab some voicemails. If you'd like to leave us a voicemail, 1-844-TOMNDAN, show@tomanddan.com for emails. And then you can leave us a mediocre message on our app. All of our content on there. Let's try this one right here.
Hey guys, just listening to the Friday Free Show, and in Tom's defense, god damn, those bleachers do suck. I guess the older you get, the harder it is to sit on a metal bleacher. My son's a wrestler, and every night, and we have to go to all these different meets on the weekends, and you're sitting there in these hard ass metal bleachers, and your prostate's flaming hot. Yeah, it really sucks. Anyway, I feel your pain, Tom. Love you guys. Bye.
Is he peeing?
Yeah, and it's taken a long time.
Oh, man.
I think he
Prostate.
did that. I think he did that. Yeah, I think it was like for verification. He's like, I'm going to talk about how inflamed these bleachers make my prostate. I'm also going to call in as I drabbled little drips of pee-pee into the toilet.
So yesterday I took my sons to their American Ninja Warrior class that they're now taking on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Warrior Wednesday.
It's Warrior Wednesdays. American Ninja
Right.
Warrior Wednesday. Did you wear your flag outfit? He has the American flag Chubby's Chubberalls that he wears.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
He looks like the dude from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, exactly.
So I started looking around, like this facility is off of I-4. It's in like it's a giant ass air conditioned warehouse, and then they filled it full of like gym mats, and then the whole scaffolding with all the S
Mount
swing
Nakasuto.
yeah, and
Ken, Tommy, and Max climb Mount Nakasuto.
oh, they're horrible at it. And they, like,
Do they dress as their occupation? See, when
No,
Tommy
no.
goes up there, he's
Yeah,
like,
how are they dressed?
I'm
for
Tommy,
this?
I'm 7, and I love Fortnite. Max is like, I'm Orange Mark, and I'm 6, and I love dancing.
They have capes that they have to like whip off right before
Yeah.
they run.
Tommy's wearing jeans.
Jeans.
Well, he's going concrete
He
Mike
does-
style. It's
he
concrete
does-
Mike style of Ninja Warrior.
he doesn't like wearing shorts. Like,
Okay, but you can get him in some athletic
Oh
pants.
my God, he's Tuttle's dad. Tuttle's dad never showed his legs to the sky.
it must be a nerd thing. Oh, I don't
No, he
know.
must have gotten made fun of for his bird legs.
I don't know. He don't like to wear shorts. So he's in
That's what it
jeans,
is.
and then
Most redneck welders don't like to wear shorts.
but he
Gotta plump up those bird legs so he can show them off.
and then
Or does he got what his dad's got? Oh.
What
No,
is
yeah.
Max's gear? What's Max dressed like a full ninja?
no, he wears shorts, but it's I basically it's just a money maker for kids
Yeah.
to it's a babysitting. But I started looking around, and apparently then I started looking it up. I'm like, what is this? And then I
I
looked it
love
up.
you do it now that you have your children there signed up.
No,
You don't
yeah,
do
yeah,
it
yeah.
prior
Now that they've
to.
been injected with the serum, I might as well look at the ingredients here.
I'm just sitting with the other parents in the parents' sitting area, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's just looking at their phones now, right?
Is there a sign that says "No ninjas past this point" or something like that? I love it when
Dude,
they
this is over by the prison.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By 33rd, like,
prison ninjas.
In
fact,
that's
I've
where the
heard
land's cheap.
I've
That
heard the
is why
term
the land
ninja a
is
lot, but
cheap.
it's only
Yeah.
to take place of another word.
By the way, I got off at the wrong area, and
Oh, man.
Yeah, don't throw them off there.
Billy's bail bonds. I know where you were.
we're about to do the real Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, throw them over the fence.
Anyway, so I started looking it up, and then apparently it was started by an ex Ninja Warrior, like an American
Yeah.
Ninja Warrior that like got high in the TV show or whatever, and like
He
made
got
some
high?
money. No, but like higher up in the competition,
thought
like
you
on the
meant-
TV show. Like I think he won something and then took that money and then started this company.
He ascended Mount Fujimoto.
I think that's the Japanese one. I don't even.
I think I'm getting the name wrong. Of it.
I think no,
I
it's
just like
fine.
saying it.
Dude, it's weird because it's just all scaffolding and like metalwork, and they're like, "Yeah, this is Mount, Madur Diaba."
No, it is because that's
Mount
what I was-
Midori Manama might be. Who's
He's American Ninja Warrior favorite. R.J. Roman is their head coach.
Oh, I know R.J.
Yeah.
Roman.
He's the head coach.
I think he was there because I saw behind. He was at his desk and he's ripped and he has like a tank
You
top.
took a wrong turn at the jail, didn't you?
I will say, so with that, they do make some pretty decent money. It's like, and it's one of those where if you complete the first round, you get $5,000. You get the second round, you get another $10,000, and that's for every contestant that is able to do it. So that's why, like, it gives them more incentive to take part of it. So if the guy goes, a couple seasons, it's a few thousand. Shekels his way.
Well, I think he must have used that money to start the business or whatever, or used the fame, his reputation to start the. But it is
It's
all
no different than what like MMA guys do when they start an MMA gym,
But
right?
you look at what it is, and you're right. It's just scaffolding with S hanging from
Yeah.
it, like just wooden balls and like
Who's
different.
best at the spider wall?
they're horrible at it. And
Can they do that?
No.
Do you do it with them?
Did you
They
take
can't
some
even do
video
nothing.
so we could laugh at
Yeah,
them?
do you
Yeah.
do it?
Come on.
No, I was looking at my phone like all the other parents.
damn it.
And by the way,
You're supposed to do it with him, but you're supposed to be dressed like the stiffest ninja.
I did look at it and say I could definitely do this. Or at least what they were doing, I could blow them out of the water.
You should do that, and then they'll be impressed, and then they'll want to like get better than you, and that's how they get into it.
Well, okay. What I didn't like is that you know how over at the indoor skydive place, where like they make you they hold you. You're
Yeah, I
doing the
don't like that
skydive.
they hold you down. Let me go to the top.
But then at the end, the instructor does like a 20-second
It's a show off.
show off.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
No, but I like that.
Oh, I don't like
because
that.
At least I'm like, oh wow, look at him go. And, like, so I'm just watching a bunch of kids fall in their face like they can't do nothing, and then
So
I
you
just
want-
leave.
so you
I want
want-
to see the instructor. I want to see the ninja, the owner, get out there. And
You
show
want the TV show.
Yeah, so you want AJ to go blow through the course. He hits the button, the smoke goes by, and he's like, and he's ascended Mount Fujimoto. And then you're like, all right, boys, do what he did.
Well, no. I know they can't. I just want to see someone do it. I just watching a bunch of kids try to do it, and they fall every time. They can't even do nothing.
My favorite part of the show is they'll spend like days interviewing them ahead of time, getting B-roll. Some, production assistant
right in the turd water.
is editing it for like days, getting it approved. They air it on TV. It's like a 10-minute package about how they overcame cancer, and the money's going to be used to start a children's hospital.
Oh, yeah.
And then literally the first thing they slip on the first.
Fail.
No.
Yeah, they want
And
the story to pull at the heartstrings, and then
what
they
do
fail.
they do? Which is a smart move, but then they cut to their kid on the mom's shoulders, traditionally the mom, on the mom's shoulders, and the kid's crying because
yeah.
their dad fell in the turd
It's
water.
a terrible show.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
that's
now,
awesome.
now because a lot of people are in Zoom, they'll show the kid, crying on Zoom, but then it's bad internet connection because no one ever has good internet connection.
Oh, we know.
So it freezes on the kid like crying.
And they're also, all the contestants and the athletes that do this are way too positive, because then when they do fail, they're never as mad as I want them
they're
to
always
be.
like, darn it.
Yeah.
They got the best of me this
next
time.
Yeah, like, I want you to be devastated.
This water is refreshing. I needed it.
What I don't get is, okay, so they're in the middle of, like one of the climbs, and then there's someone on the sideline, like giving them advice, be like, okay, make sure that you're, rotating your wrists when you jump. And I'm like, are they really thinking
No.
about that? Or are they just jumping and trying to grab?
Yeah, they're just jumping. It's all instinct.
Every time I see the one where you hold the bar and you go, again, and like you hop
have
yourself
that.
up.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at that and I'm like, I could do that. But then if I really think about
But
it,
if you
I
fell
know
backwards.
I can't. No, I just know, like, but everything I see in my mind, I'm like, I could do that. But if I really,
I like the
am
one where you have
honest
to
with myself-
scoot.
Oh, yeah. I can't do it. There's no way any of us in this room
No.
can do any of that.
No.
I don't
Or
think
they
I can.
would-
I can't even do one pull-up. Not even one.
What?
Not even
The
one.
only one I could potentially see any one of us doing is the very first one where you just have to hop across the rocks.
Can't do
over
it
the
too
water.
short.
Yeah, this is a long
Have
jump
you
for
looked at
Daniel.
me? Yeah. I would have to run in the first round. They should let me hit the button when I land on the first lily pad. I'm like,
Well,
we did it.
we would all run full stride. You would just do like one hop and then settle yourself, then one hop.
I would be real slow, and that's not because it's time. Look, if you want me to get through it, I can get through. I can do a couple of obstacles, but I'm not going to get through it. We got to take a break.
All right, let's take a break. You want to stick around, Kenny?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
All
hang
right,
out.
cool. All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back to a corporate time. Kimmy Sammy.
Kimmy Sammy.
Kimmy Sammy.
Kimmy Sammy's
We
with us?
start calling you Kimmy Sammy.
God
Kimmy
damn it.
Sammy. Oh, Kimmy Sammy. It's Kenny Samuels is here
Oh.
from the Two Moofs podcast.
That also was not my last name.
Samsel.
I didn't mean to say Samuels.
talk to
Why did I
Samsel.
say Samuels?
I'm writing this down for
Samsels.
the awards.
You know what?
Samuel.
Little Kimmy Samuels
Kimmy Samuels is
from
here.
the Time Ifes podcast.
Now you got me blushing because I'm trying to make a point. And I said your name wrong too. We're both idiots. Let's do voicemails and emails.
Who are you?
He just walked into the studio, didn't even lock the door.
I'm sorry, Samsel. All right, here we go. This is from Zach. Everyone loves Zach.
Hey gang, it's Zach from Ohio. What kind of deodorant do you guys use? I hate the white chalky stuff that when you try to wash it off in the shower, it feels all sticky. I normally have always used Dove Men's. It's like the blue gel kind. It's not the kind that you you squeeze up and it squirts out. It's just not chalky. So it's way better than having chalky armpits.
I
you
use
use the
Dove.
gel?
I use the Dove deodorant. It's a gray can. I use spray deodorant because I'm locked into DeLand Middle School.
You spray?
I use spray deodorant because I am forever DeLand Middle School gymnasium changing room. Forever, I will always be in the locker room, and everybody's yelling, and there's deodorant, and I will grab my bright teal can of Degree spray deodorant,
Wow.
and I would fog my armpits good, and fog my genitals if they needed it, and I would not take a shower because I was a tiny peen, and away I would go, DeLand Middle, I would not take a shower.
Yeah. I didn't know anybody took
Teal
took
Degree,
showers.
the Teal Degree. and then one on the genitals and out the door. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody's yelling, screaming. There's showers everywhere, and I just had to get the hell out of there.
I never got the gel because it's just always sticky.
I agree.
Every
The
time
gel
you put-
comes to the top. You see there's 100 holes on the top, and you see the rounded part, and then it says give it 2 clicks, and you go click, nothing. Then you go second click, too much. Always.
But then you put it on, you immediately put your armpits down. It's like, well, they're glued shut.
You gotta, if you do the
You
gel,
gotta
you gotta
wiggle it.
air it out and let it dry.
way.
I used to smear it in.
I hated it.
I used to smear it into my hairs, my armpit hairs.
I use the Right Guard Extreme because I'm so
Right Guard Extreme.
It's endorsed. That was the one I think that was endorsed by Exhibit, and he would just like yell at the camera for a while.
We're gonna pimp your armpits.
But no, I like it. I mean, it works for me. It is a little chalky, but I don't have the problem that Zach has about it being like all weird when you're trying
What
to
do
shower.
you use, Sam?
I use Secret,
Okay.
Invisible Solid, clinical
Strong
strength.
enough for a woman,
Oh, yeah.
but made for a man.
Did you guys know that this, because you said Exhibit, which made me think of Pimp My Ride. Did you guys know that Lil Jon's coming out with a home renovation show where he's basically going to pimp your house?
I
But
saw
it's gonna
that.
be garbage. It's gonna He's gonna show up. He's gonna be like, "What?"
I
And then it's
saw
gonna
him.
be crap.
He did the quintessential kick through the drywall.
Oh,
when they,
I
you know,
love that. Yeah, all
like,
right.
They're taking a wall down, so they're like, "All right, kick
It's
through
called
it."
Lil Jon Wants to Do What?
Stupid.
What?
Well, that could mean anything, right?
Who wants to see that?
I want to see it.
Like,
I mean, you said that, but
I'm probably with Sam on this one. I
Vanilla
probably will watch.
Ice's home renovation show was on for like 10 years, and he's made millions off of it.
yeah, but
did
he
pretty
actually
good on
did that. Like
And he took it too
No,
serious for me to watch. Like I'd watch
Like-
it, and it would be a serious show, and I'd be like, "Well, I'm out."
Like I think Vanilla Ice took
he's
his
a flipper.
fame and money and then started flipping
100% a
houses like
flipper.
into real estate.
That's his
So
prime
then,
job.
Yeah. So then when they created the show, like he's already doing it. Is Little John doing that too, or is he just the host of it? And has no idea.
He's a co-host of it. He's actually working with
Ty Pennington.
a lady that does this for a living. He's just coming with the ideas, right? Like the crazy ideas like they would do on Pimp My Ride where it's like you got an aquarium in your trunk. Like dumb stuff, you know? I can't wait.
An aquarium in my trunk would be pretty rad.
Have
But
they?
the poor fish.
I know they've done some of this, and probably ABC probably shuts it down, or they have like agreements, non-disclosure, like you can't. But has there been follow-ups with all the extreme home makeover houses and seeing
There
how
have been a few.
how people's houses have fallen apart?
They don't like to do it because
and
a
I think
lot
that's
of
why that
those-
show went away.
Well,
Yeah, they rush job that stuff, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they don't want. It doesn't look good if you're up on it.
It looks good for one day.
Yeah.
Because they obviously they had to do it in a week or
It's kind of like
whatever.
our studio. It's like we got it just good enough to take the photos, and then everything just started to fall off the walls.
Well, and if it doesn't fall to disrepair just because of bad at living, a lot of people can't afford the taxes on it.
Yeah. Sure.
So they end up having to sell it, which again is fine. You get the money from that, but you don't get to enjoy the home that they built for you.
Yeah, and also like your air conditioning, a 6,000 square foot
Yep.
house, and you're just like, I can't. I have 2 ACs running all the time. Like just the upkeep, and it starts falling apart after a while, especially if it's built shoddy. So you're actually hindering these people. Like the first day, like, oh, we got this awesome thing. We got a treadmill and a pool that you could swim in. That one of those tiny lap pools or whatever that has the jets, so you could swim in one place or whatever.
yeah, like a lap pool.
But that whole thing, like the pool equipment, the maintenance for that thing, like you need a person every week to maintain that,
Right. And it
it's-
wasn't well thought out. You just kind of threw it in the ground. And
Yeah,
it's
because
like,
it's all for the entertainment. It's not for
Yeah.
the actual betterment of any of these people.
you know, the chat room brought up Trading Spaces. I was a massive Trading Spaces fan back when it was super popular. I'd watch the hell out of that show.
Like I stumbled upon, I was sitting there, I think yesterday, and I was like, let me just turn on the TV and see, watch some garbage for a second. And I saw this some network show called Biggest Cheapskate, and maybe a TLC or something like that, like one of those shows like Hoarders or whatever. But this is highlighting the biggest cheapskate or whatever. So I'm like, oh, this will be interesting.
Yeah,
Let's
this will be
see-
funny.
See how some mentally ill cheap people. And then I forgot how cooked those shows were, and they were for the lowest common denominator of the country or whatever to watch. And I forgot how fake they were. The first scene was him at a restaurant, And because I wanted to see the reality, because there's a reality of people that are so cheap that like
then it's a
Gilbert
mental
Gottfried-
problem,
Yeah,
yeah.
but like it's
And
fun.
everybody loves mental problems.
But so hoarders and all this stuff is mental problems.
Yeah.
But you're watching it, you're like, look at these people's lives; they're worse than mine.
Yeah, I mean Amber Heard and Johnny, that's all mental problems, right?
And
all of
yeah,
it.
yeah. And then so this guy, he's at a restaurant, and then he gets up at like they're filming him. He gets up out of the table, and then he starts asking the people next to him. He's like, "Hey, could I have your leftovers?" So like he's a New York guy, and then it's obviously
Yeah,
fake.
yeah.
And obviously, like you don't do that. That's not even a normal thing that even cheap people. They don't go over and ask people what before they're even finished eating.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
for
it's
their
all
left.
set up, dude.
And then I'm just like, garbage. Like,
Yeah.
show me the reality is actually more interesting than this bull ass that you're trying to portray to us. But then I forget it's all for dumb people. It's
and
like-
you're right. You hit the nail on the head. It's the lowest. I mean, because shows are so easy to make now. A lot of them are just a person and a camera and an editor back at base. You know?
yeah.
There was one that I saw. This guy is like a restaurant product reviewer, so he gets shipments of like pots and pans all the time. He saves all of the styrofoam peanuts, pours it, and that's his bed. He literally like pours styrofoam peanuts and puts a sheet over it and lays on it, and that's his bed that he has. So he never has to pay for any mattresses or anything.
That's so stupid.
Well, what
That's
is it?
stupid.
You can get free mattresses.
And that's coming from reviewing Mario.
Yeah, just look around the trash.
Well,
yeah,
but I'm
people
saying,
throw
like,
them out eventually.
you
Yeah,
can
there was
go-
one in Castleberry the other day when I was going to your pool party.
There's always a stain on it, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah. You can
There's a
Put a
stain on
sheet
my
on it.
mattress.
like I'm virtually certain you can go on Craigslist or like OfferUp or
Yeah,
some of the things.
free mattress, yeah.
Yeah, and people
Come
get
pick
free,
it up.
like so you don't need to make your own out of packing peanuts. That's for the show or for whatever or something. You know
I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
unless you really like it, if it feels good, and you're like, nothing beats
Even
it
the
old.
noise, though. How you sleep? You roll
It'd be like a
over. it's just-
beanbag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So about 10 years ago, Extreme Makeover actually did a house over in Cocoa. So I don't know if they're still there, but that might be an opportunity if anyone knows them that you can interview them and
Dude,
talk to them.
there's one behind Altamont, or right in
there's
Altamont
one
on
in Maitland.
436.
Oh, there was?
We went there when they were doing it as a radio thing.
Was
This
that
is
the
like
lady
10
the kind lady that like would always open her doors to the community?
Yeah,
and she was
yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of beloved within the city,
They don't- yeah.
and they were trying to help her out, but I think it ended up hurting her a little bit.
Well, just like
It's too
all
expensive.
of it. But I see every time I drive by it, I always look down the street because you could see it, and it's this gigantic monstrosity. Which, by the way, is probably worth a lot of money now. Like when they built it, 10,
Well, like what's the
15 years
condition
ago,
of it now, right?
there's still palm trees, and it's like it's not. I mean, how bad could it be?
Well,
like,
the inside, I mean,
the
interiors can get a little grody.
Oh yeah. Like
yeah,
someone,
but people will still buy it even if they need
Yeah.
to renovate it.
in
a
this
little bit.
market, like it's
anything's for sale.
Yeah, although it's like it's in a weird location, and it's like a weird location for a mega mansion, and that's the thing. It's like regular 1950s flat roof Florida houses, and then all of a sudden this gigantic 50-cent mega mansion next door to it is bizarre.
Yeah, this is an article from 2013 that somebody threw in our Twitch chat room. And basically, this particular house, they had to have they won the home in 2006. In 2013, about 7 or 8 years later, they had to have a big garage sale and sell everything. One of their neighbors is quoted as saying the show set them up to fail. Quote, I don't think they think ahead when they're making all of these home improvements. They don't realize their property taxes are going to go up. The air bills are going to go up. Electricity, everything weighs in. So they were...
Yeah, that's not their concern. They're just
Yeah.
trying to make a show.
Yeah,
Right. They're not supposed to budget
unfortunately-
it for you. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like, hey, do you want us to do this? Okay, sure. Well, here's your house. Good luck with it.
Yeah.
Well, now they get. I mean, they sell a house for $1 million plus. I mean, now it's probably worth an insane amount. But I mean, at least they got that. You just go back to your situation after.
One of the few good things that I did when I was in radio is we did a promotion where we gave away a house. And it was one of those like, for the 6 months, we're getting finalists who call in, whatever. And then we actually went to the house. It was out in Mount Dora, and we did one of those reverse drawings where the last name selected wins the house or whatever. And so when we did that, the guy who had won was so appreciative. He had saved up money all his life to put down as a down payment for a house, but he could never afford it.
Yeah.
But now that he won the house, that down payment can go towards taxes and bills and maintenance, stuff like that. So it was actually one of the rare cases where the person who won legitimately should have won, and it wasn't just some prize hog or anything.
Yeah. And that's rare too. because
Oh,
it's all-
extremely
yeah.
rare. And when he told us that story, I thought he was making it up, but no, he was showing us that he'd been talking to mortgage people and stuff like that. And now he got a free house in Mount Dora, and he had it. And I was like, wow, we actually can do good. We don't, but we can.
Yeah. I wonder if he still owns it, or if he immediately sold it.
That's true. This was about, again, this was 2006, 2007. So a lot of my stories I realize are from 2006, 2007.
You know, a lot of
That's
us
our
are
peak.
too.
That's my glory days.
I hope he immediately sells it like a year later. He's like, the reason I can't keep this house is the same reason I couldn't buy one. I didn't deserve it. I'm joking.
You want to do? Let's do another one. Defending.
Come on.
Defending. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
We're making jokes here.
I'm with you. Follow you to hell.
Hey, I was listening to your last OG show, 476, where you're talking about how entertaining baseball is. If you have to defend how entertaining your sport is, oh, guess what? It's not entertaining. It stinks. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes baseball.
Okay, well, you heard it from this guy.
We never said that. We never said how entertaining it was. Our whole theory was about the...
I think this was towards me and me saying how entertaining I find it. But if you have to call in and defend an argument about something stinking, then isn't your argument being applied to you?
Was he trying to do a Tom impression?
No, I think he was just trying to give the emphasis of something that he thinks stinks. But, okay, sir, we heard it from you. Yes, baseball stinks. Well said.
But that's the reason why I think it's going to survive, is because it's a different type
it's a
and
different vibe.
pace of sport that I feel people are going to gravitate to, like Daniel, that don't like the anxiety of other sports or want something to watch that's very low
like last
anxiety,
night,
low pressure.
Super exciting because the Braves came back to win.
Mm-hmm.
They were already not doing so hot, and the Sox were up, and the Braves came back. So it was very exciting. It was good. A good game last night.
I think it's really weird. So football is one of those, a lot of people say it's way better to watch at home than it is to go to a game.
Yeah.
Conversely, I would say that hockey is... not that it's bad to watch on TV, but it is so much fun in person that it's hard to watch it on TV because you know.
Same thing with
how great
soccer too. I feel like
I love hockey
better
on
live.
TV, so I can only imagine how much more fun it would be if I went, because I enjoy it. But it does. Hockey can get my anxiety a little too high.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm watching it and the Lightning are very close to like taking the lead. Excuse me, or they're like tied up, or if they're having to come back, or if they pull their goalie or anything, I'm like it's real dicey for me. I gotta decide whether or not I want to leave it on or turn it off.
And also, this guy's got to realize, like, everything's subjective, right? Like, some people like different things than you like, or find different things entertaining.
He's defending his
everybody
argument.
likes different things.
He was too stupid to even understand that by defending his argument, he was ruining his argument. So you're dumb.
In some ways, he is doing a Tom where he's just crapping on something that other people like,
That's true.
that's a
It's
Tom
yucky.
thing.
I
It's yucky
do
when
it.
I yum.
Yeah.
I was pointing out.
I do it too, but I don't get
yeah.
as much heat for it.
I was just pointing out at
I'm
the
just
end. He's
cuter.
like, well, guess what? And then it was like, oh, okay.
That's not Tom to me. I don't know.
No. Tom would be like, it stinks.
Well, he
And
did
then-
say it stinks.
You did say
Yeah,
that.
but
is-
not as good as Tom.
No.
Tom's got a special delivery when he does that. It's really, really good.
And then again, like, I don't gravitate towards baseball, but I did enjoy it when Daniel put it on the background at a party. Like,
Yeah, it's good.
I did like that aspect of it, of like background stuff. And then my whole theory about the anti-anxiety low pace of it is attractive to some people.
It's
which
only exciting when it needs to be.
Yeah, which may be a benefit to itself because it's unlike the other sports. Anyway,
This is going to be weird. You ready?
Tom and Dan and Sam. Hey guys, it's Kenny. I was listening to Dan complain about getting a phone call because they didn't have the right pork for his sub. Unfortunately, they have to do that because people would lose their GD minds if you don't give them exactly what they asked for. I used to do food delivery for Shipt, and someone would ask for like a 10.4 ounce box of Frosted Flakes, and I would get them a 10.6 ounce box because they changed their packaging and they didn't have the other one. And they would lose it on me because I didn't call them to notify them of this change. Even though it might be cheaper or the same price or whatever, they ask for a specific thing, and I must tell them exactly when it's not there. So, yeah, unfortunately that happens. I know Tom's going to just yell, well, that's just a crazy person. Unfortunately, Tom, it happens so much. Like, I would just get yelled at for the dumbest things. So, yeah, they got to do that. So, sorry, Dan, you got to put up with those phone calls. All right, guys. Love you. Bye.
Is it weird to sit and listen to your own voicemail? I've always wanted to do that.
It isn't, because I'm crazy, and so when I record it before I hit send on the email,
You
I
listen
listen back
back?
and I was like,
Whoa, you do?
I was like, do I
You're
sound?
the guy that does it.
And I'm like, do I
Oh
sound
my
like
God.
an idiot? It's like, wait, did I say something wrong? Did I come
You
off
really
crazy?
do that?
Yeah.
I don't even read my emails I send.
Oh, we know.
We know.
Yeah, I know.
I just hit send as soon as I'm done with that. I'm like, it's send.
Yeah, you also never sign your emails, which I think that's a dumb old man thing. I sign my emails. That's dumb old man, right?
Well, do
When you
have-
put any, like, why do I got to sign it? It's coming from me. You're just
Right.
going to assume it's coming from me.
But do
It's
you have
my
an-
account.
Do you have an email signature?
I
though?
do, and I still sign it. I put a little. I
Oh,
put
see,
a
that's
little
weird.
D because guess what? I'm little D. I don't put a big
But it
D.
says
I put a
your
little.
name,
I
underneath
understand
in the
that, but
picture.
I think that by putting my signature on it means that I'm giving it the amount. Like, it's your way of knowing that I reread it and I believe everything I'm saying.
So you did Shipped.
Yeah, food delivery during the COVID times.
Now tell me about
That's
it.
over now.
Because
All good.
my wife still uses the food delivery
Yeah.
stuff. It's convenient, especially for your everyday stuff or whatever.
Y'all do everything delivery now too, right? Laundry, groceries.
Well, that laundry I suggested. Chris was like, I'll do it. I'm like,
How be a ninja warrior?
Anyway, so the people would, because I know that people like the shopper will say like, oh, they don't have this.
Yeah.
Can I substitute
Well,
with
you're
this or
supposed to
whatever?
already give those things, right?
So there's a couple ways you can do it.
Like on Kroger, you go ahead, like you'll pick something and they'll say, whoa. There's limited availability. Give me 2 more choices. And you give like 2 more choices. That way you don't have to be answering the person. It's already in queue to know that if they don't have Wickles pickles, that getting, regular old Clausens are fine. You know what I mean?
So those are the best customers that if they put that, even if they don't put it, they'll say, hey, I trust the shopper to get a substitute.
Yeah.
And they'll put that.
Do
so
your
if,
best.
So if they didn't have, the 12-ounce box of Frosted Flakes, I'll get them the 14-ounce box, and that's fine. They're okay with that.
I never probably at least once an order, like someone will get something that's different than Crystal requested or whatever. Like it happens or that kind of thing. And then Crystal's like, oh, they got this brand instead of this brand or whatever. Or like, I didn't want to buy one, get one, but they just gave it to me, whatever. But we're always like, oh, well, never thinking to complain to the person or write a bad review is because like this is a service that didn't exist like 2 years ago or 4 years ago.
So you're appreciative.
And also like it's just a person that's like signed onto the app that does this, a random stranger, like so it's it's kind of 90. It's kind of like when you do a contractor or someone does something at your house or whatever. It's never 100%. It's 95%, and then you're just like, okay, though that's what it is. Yeah, it's what it is. But people want perfection, which is insane. To
And
me.
not just that, but the people who use it, like one of the things, hey, they don't have the exact brand of pickles. I will text them and communicate with them, and they don't respond. And so I'm like, well, I can't.
we do.
I can't get you the pickles.
No,
so I'll
I want you to wait there and stand in Publix until I get out of the shower.
Well, like Andrea will reply to the person, and like, well, there was one time where she was laying. This is during like in the middle of COVID, so this person must have had time, and obviously we had time because we weren't going anywhere or doing anything. And Andrea was like messaging this person all day, replacements. Like, no, that's fine. You can get that. No, you can get this. And I'm like, God damn, that's a lot of work.
Yeah,
Should have just gone to the store.
Like, you want chips, you're gonna get some sort of chips. It's just whatever. Like, this is
What
what
do
it
you want?
takes.
You want a sandwich and a chips and a drink? Okay, we'll have a drink so there's something to eat.
Yeah, but again, it's coming from you. That's weird if you're saying that you don't care. But there are people that are like, nope, has to be Lay's potato chips, can't be Wise.
Well, then
potato
you
chips.
do it. You get your fat ass down there and do it yourself.
Yeah.
God damn.
So when I did ship,
I agree with that.
there was someone who needed a Target order, and with Target, it's not just groceries. You can get like the non-grocery stuff too.
Tampons.
And they wanted, I swear to God, triple XL tidy whities, but they wanted like 20 packs of them.
Damn.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like,
It's hard not to judge that, right?
So I get it, and I wipe Target out of the triple XL tidy
Pun
whities.
intended.
And I deliver
This
it.
person definitely has gross doo-doo.
So I deliver it to them, and they give me like a really good tip because obviously it's a pretty embarrassing, order or whatever.
I mean,
and
it's
then
weird.
Their order came up again, and I recognized the address, and I was like, oh, okay, let me try to do this order again. I know them, whatever.
1640 big ass lane.
And then I click it, and it's like, oh yeah, you're ineligible. Apparently, they had blocked me from doing any future orders.
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking they were embarrassed that I knew that they were morbidly obese.
It's the big fat underwear man.
What do you care?
Yeah.
Well,
the first rule of being a big fat underwear man is only using one shipped shopper a week, and then you block them.
They gave me a good tip, though, I will say.
Us normal people, I feel like we are unaware of how many crazy people
Wait,
are
am I
out
normal?
there.
Am I in this conversation, or are you just talking to
You're
Kenny?
like the blade of crazy.
One blade
You
of crazy.
you will be the triple X underwear guy one day. Yeah. But
I'm
anyway,
more of like a medium plus.
You're a normal walker.
we don't encounter that many totally insane people that are around in our society all the time because we're like, we normally you're at your coworkers or friends and family. That's it. And then every once in a while you'd be like, oh, that person's crazy. But the people that have to deal with crazy people for their job, I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like firefighters, like nurses,
Teachers.
Anyone that has to work with the public at all.
Yeah.
Managers at Publix, I can't imagine the amount of people.
Managers at stores.
I think it's normally
managers at
assistant
Walmart.
manager. Like a manager I never see anymore. We used
Oh,
to,
yeah,
the manager
yeah.
over
Yeah.
here, we used to see that guy all the time. He gone. That guy's gone. After COVID, he's like, I'm out of here.
He's in
Assistant
that-
manager?
He's in that tiny back room that has one desk and one
We
computer.
have
It's up top.
Ours is
Yeah.
up top,
Oh.
and then they have like secret windows so they can stand up there and look down on you.
In like a bailiff in a courtroom, like anybody
Yeah.
that deals with the court system. Oh God, like
bad.
that's the worst. We don't talk about that. Like people.
DMV.
Oh, DMV.
DMV's
Oh
bad.
man, we should throw out a prize to the person that has to deal with the most crazy people.
Whoever is in charge of jury
Besides
duty.
therapists.
Oh yeah. Well, no.
Well, if they're going there, they're not that
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
What if
yeah.
they work at a mental institute?
That's
They
just
see-
going to be funny.
Because that's you.
sad.
Because you can tell people
Oh,
like,
it's
get out of here. But you know, you can
Just
yell at them.
over-medicate them.
Yeah,
and yell
yeah,
at
yeah,
them.
This guy's eating his feet again.
Because when you have to be polite and courteous and customer service to crazy people, that's the worst job.
Yeah,
Because
like
you
at a
can't treat them
store-
like you like at the mental institution.
They have
you
no
start-
rights.
You're hitting them in the head.
yeah,
you're like, get out of
tasing
here.
them. You push them
You
through
know,
double doors. You're duct taping
You lock
their
them up.
hands.
Anyway, bye. Welcome back to a corporate time. What do you guys want to talk about?
Let's just close out Thursday with just the randomness that is voicemails from the corporate time and the a mediocre time universe. If you'd like to leave us one of those, 1-844-TOMNDAN. That's our vanity number. We spend thousands of dollars on that super stupid vanity number that I bought. Thousands. I mean, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for that. Then you can get our app. All of our content's on there. You just hit a little button and you can leave us a mediocre message like this one right here.
Yo, BDM Neil here. Yeah, Sam is so right about the Avatar thing. Yeah, so they just had to develop new technology to shoot film underwater. So that's why when you're watching the movie, like even when you're watching the trailer on your computer, it looks better than normal. Like James Cameron has some weird ass, like...
But better than normal, though, just doesn't cut it for me, right? Like, I saw that somebody in our BDM group, like, did they made, like, a GIF of, like, one of the Na'vi, the Avatar people, tying their hand on their saddle to ride a dragon. And it was supposed to show me how great the animation of the Na'vi hands, the blue hands and the veins in their hands, and
The
then the
water,
leather and
yeah.
the water splashing.
It looks real.
And it does look real, but you're missing our point. Our point is that, yeah, but the original Avatar looked great. And this Avatar is going to look great. But it's been like...
It's not mind-blowing. Like...
It's your incremental argument. It's a perfect version of your incremental argument of like, we got it this good, and then you're showing me this, and it's like, not that much better.
I think...
And I've made fun of you for that argument for years.
Mind-blowing leaps may be... Like, it only happens in certain generations, right? And, we saw it when, like, the first plasma TVs came out, and, like...
Yeah.
And
we saw Planet Earth.
Yeah,
we saw Planet Earth for the first time. It's like 720p.
It blew my mind. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how good it looked, to the point where I remember just standing there mesmerized by it, like, oh my God, like it blew my mind.
I had a discussion with Andrea before we were married, sitting at our old house, where I looked at her and I was high, and I remember having a discussion with her about how, do you think it'll be easier for us to, like, we'll be able to watch more TV because our eyes are having to work less hard? I actually said that. That's a quote from me. That's how blanking stupid I am.
So, Sam,
that's how stupid I am, Sam, but you knew that.
And, honestly, the Oculus and the VR was kind of mind-blowing.
I'm done with the Oculus. I gave it a hard 3 months, and I'm out.
When I first saw it, I was super impressed. I'm like, wow. Like, but there a lot of things aren't that. They just incrementally get better, and then it's like, oh yeah, this is a little better than last time, but it's not.
What you need is something you've never had before. The reason I ride my Peloton all the time is because it's something I never had before. Now I'm sure they're going to come out with a bigger and better Peloton, but it's just going to be incrementally better than what I already have. It's not going to be as impressive. That's kind of a bad example, but I know you see what I'm saying. Like,
Sam,
I'm with you on this now, man.
What have you been impressed by in your life, like mind blown about either the technology or something that you've experienced?
I would honestly say probably Flight of Passage.
I knew you were going to say
it.
Yeah.
Dude.
We're so impressive. Like, but other rides that are similar to Flight of Passage in the future.
I don't know a ride that is similar.
Well, I'm saying when they do make, because they're all going to copycat off of something awesome. Like, that's what they do. Like,
they probably already are.
Yeah.
But then if you ride that one, it's going to be not as mind blowing because it's just like, oh, this is like the Flight of Passage. There's only certain amount of things in life that you get that it, like, really impresses you, and the rest. It's kind of like when the iPhone or a smartphone first came out.
Yeah, the first iPhone was super impressive. This is an iPhone 13 Pro. Not as impressive.
Well, you're not that astounded by it from the last one. It's just incrementally better, blah blah blah.
It's like once you're rich, if you make a couple more mil.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, going from dirt poor
to rich,
to even middle class, is mind blowing. But then middle class to rich is not that good.
Now, what is?
It's like, all right, it's I have a bigger house, but I have more money in savings. I got a better boat, but I had a other boat.
Yeah, I had a boat. In some ways, you might have
nicer car, but I had a car with AC before.
In some ways, maybe you drive your ski boat around a little more fun because it's less to worry about. You can do things in a ski boat you can't do in a mega yacht.
Like if you got I'm trying to a brand, like even a 2015 Honda Accord, right?
Yeah.
And then you're driving that around, and then you went to a Bentley.
Yeah.
That is. I don't know how much a Bentley is. Like 380 grand.
Well, it depends. You can get like an 06 for $35,000.
Yeah. Oh, I'm talking about like a really nice car. Anyway, it's still got the Honda Accord had ice cold air. Yeah. It's like comfortable, like an airbag.
It had an 8-inch touchscreen in there.
It drives nice. And then you go to the Bentley, you're like, oh, this is nicer, but not blow your mind. If you went from the Flintstones car to the Honda Accord, you'd be like, oh my God.
I think there's a sweet spot in that. So if you get me in the Honda Accord, right, I can be like, maybe I can throw my Burger King bag on the ground. Yes, I said Burger King. But then if you get to like Mercedes, that's like, to me, right, the sweet spot, right?
Yeah,
where you're still going to be able to drive it heavy, use it, maybe a little mustard on the leather, you're not feeling too bad. But if you get a Bentley, it might have diminishing returns where you're like, whoa, I'm in a Bentley, I have to drive this thing perfectly, I have to make sure it's not stained.
The next mind-blowing thing with cars is going to be when they're all
autonomous.
Self-driving, which we'll see in our lifetime, and that'll blow our old man minds.
I hope it's the last thing I say. I hope I'm like walking across the street, autonomous.
That's it. We'll see it in the next 10 years. But that, like, getting in a car and then driving with no driver,
I saw that on TikTok where it was an Uber.
Oh yeah,
that
Uber
was driverless.
Yeah,
they wouldn't do that.
I
right?
would not do that.
No, I know you wouldn't. I would have reservations. I'd do it, but I'd be a little scared.
I'm gonna give it some time before I do that.
People said the same thing about Uber regular. They were like,
I gave it some time.
I'll never
same with Airbnb. You gotta ride it out, see if it's worth it, see how many people die.
Oh my God, I could write a horror movie right now. that's sort of like Christine, like a newer version. It's like my version of Christine. Follow me with this, right? A guy, like, in order to get back at like certain people that, or maybe one person he wants to get back at, he locks the person in a self-driving car, and then he controls the car. And imagine the trauma. I would drive the car through like a fruit stand so he gets to see all the people he's killing in the car.
Yeah.
How twisted is that?
You know what? I just thought
good,
about,
right?
like, if they're able in the future for you to, like,
I know Christine was a driverless car. Christine, the person in the chat room saying that. I'm just saying this is my variation of it.
like, if they're able to figure out some sort of supplement or like an injection you could take once a year or whatever, where you didn't have to sleep as much as a normal human does, right?
I want a food pill.
Like, oh yeah, our food pill.
I said this to Andrea last night. I want a food pill that, like, it's like whatever calories
Willy
I need.
Wonka
just give me
gum.
the pill. And then she's like, it wouldn't fill you up. And I was like, they have stuff that they can put in
expand
the
your
pill.
stomach, yeah.
Well, the problem with the food pill is there is some joy that people experience in the act of eating, and then there's some camaraderie about it, like communal eating, and so like. But the sleeping, like, everybody needs good sleep, right? We know that to be healthy. But it, like, to get good sleep, you have to do it in real time. Like, you need an 8 hours or 7 or 6 or whatever your body needs. Everybody's different. But there's no way to substitute that real time. I'm saying it'd be nice in the future if there was a way to be like, all right, well, your body needs sleep because it releases this, whatever the chemical is that kind of repairs yourself and like, all the reasons your body needs sleep. If you could substitute that in some synthetic way, and therefore you only needed to actually like lay down and like be unconscious for 2 hours a day, like now you have a way more life to live, right? So then like that would be a huge leap to me. It's like, because now it's like, okay, we only need to sleep 2 hours a day. It opens up so much more time to do whatever you want, right?
I think that's why
your
people,
friends, family, hobbies, whatever. It's like is adding years to your life.
I think that's why some people are on board with the self-driving car. Think about, like, you've got some paperwork to do. It's 4:30. I'm going to leave early, and I'm going to get my paperwork done in my commute. So I sit in the back of the car. The car's driving me down the road. I'm buckled in. I got my laptop out. I'm on the Wi-Fi network, and I'm just doing my emails as it drives me home.
Yeah. I 100%.
I would do that.
There was a time where between cars, I think it was between my truck and, or maybe between the Forester and the WRX or whatever, that I just was Ubering for like 10 days straight. I just Ubered to work.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was sweet. Like, the ability to answer emails in the back of the car and have just someone drive you around seemed to me to be ultra efficient.
Did you feel fancier?
Better,
A little fancier, right?
Not even.
Did you feel like a
it's
real
more
business
efficient.
owner? Like, you get out and you're like, because I feel like,
because I was just working in the car. The guy drove me to a destination. I just got out. He left.
Only a punk drives himself.
It seemed more efficient. Now you're taking away the joy of driving that some people experience, but I think that they only experience.
I'm over the joy of driving.
Yeah.
It sucks now, especially in Central Florida. Everyone drives like an a-hole.
It's hard.
And you're driving in traffic, and you're not going fast, and you're not in the devil's backbone, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
What the hell is that? Never heard of that.
Multiple motorcycle passages all throughout the Smoky Mountains and the Blue
yeah.
Ridge.
It's all
and like
called the
these,
devil's backbone.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
always like Hawk Ridge and
just because they're fun curves and stuff like that.
Sure.
Like, most of the time, you're just
Scorpion's Gate.
driving down like some highway in traffic or like back roads.
It's stop and
like,
go.
Yeah. It's
Stoplight to stoplight.
not fun. So there's lots of things that could be like make your life that much better, like that we have to do. That's a waste. I mean, we've already experienced it just by a lot of people working from home now.
Yeah.
Like the
Not having to commute, absolutely.
Yeah, not having to commute, and then also them realizing like I only did 2 hours of real work at my job anyway, or whatever it is. Like, I mean, an 8-hour day, someone's only doing at the most 5 hours of work.
Depends on
right?
the job.
Oh,
Like
5 hours of work.
When I was doing 10 hours of data entry, I had to be logged in and typing the entire time.
Depends on the job.
Yeah.
I'm saying for a lot of the cubicle insurance, but whatever.
There's a lot of time wasted.
A lot of just sitting around. I mean, dude, think about it. Even when we worked for a bigger company like iHeart, like the amount of time wasted that most people in
sit around and wait.
If you're on air, you have to be actively doing something right. But if you're like a salesperson or whatever, like you're going to one meeting, you're going back, you're searching Facebook, you're like talking,
You go to lunch, long lunch, couple beers.
Yeah. So a lot of it is a gigantic waste. You're wasting your life.
Let's try this voicemail right here.
Tom and Dan and Sam. Hey guys, it's Kenny. You guys were talking about VHS recordings and what the last thing you recorded was. I distinctly remember mine. It was Michael Jordan's last game when he was on the Wizards. I think it was like 2003. But I recorded his last game because I'm like, this is going to be history. Like, I want to make sure that I have it. It's the greatest of all time's last game. And then when DVD started coming around, because I was just a huge sports fan, I'm like, you know what? I need to record all these games, so like the 2005 NCAA championship game, and this, Monday Night Football, and just stuff. Because I'm like, there's no way I'm ever going to relive these highlights. There's no way I'm ever going to see these games again. And then like 3 years later, YouTube comes out, and now literally you can watch any game, anytime, like of any season, known to man. And so I'm like, well, great. I just wasted hundreds of dollars and my time just recording on DVDs. Anyway, guys, just wanted to share with you how dumb I was. Love you. Bye.
Love you too. Hot take. I think I taped hundreds of things on my parents' Zenith VCR. I don't think I ever watched any of it, though, because it was more about the act of taping. It was not about going back and rewatching it. It was about, like, there was some sort of weird satisfaction I got out of, like,
archiving it.
Yeah, I was like, this is the newest episode of The Simpsons. So I'd be like, I'm going to try and get this perfect. And you try to get it perfect. You're recording. I'd edit out the commercials. It'd get to a commercial, and I'd go, 1 second, stop, pause, and then, we're back. And then undo it. And then, and why? Why did I do that? I never watched them.
There are people out there that have, like, a library type setup of VHS or like even DVDs or whatever, but VHS where it's just they have shelves of like shows,
Blu-rays,
and different things and whatever, and it's like to
people
the point
do it with video games.
Yeah, to the point where it's like almost hoarderish. And maybe it is organized or whatever, but it's an insane amount.
My wife,
and
my wife has tons of VHS, all of them in sync.
Why does she still own them?
Because she's insane.
Yeah, okay. I want to do a show where
I thought we threw them out, but she's in the chat room right now, and she says she has them. Does that mean, do I hear you, or do I hear your typing correct, madam, that I pulled those things out to the trash and you pulled them back in? Because I thought I'd thrown those out. And your Hayden Christensen Star Wars Doritos cardboard stand-up.
Because my wife used to have a coworker back in the day that had a like the shelves and shelves of VHS tapes, like to the point where one room was an entire
a media room,
a madman's cave of VHS.
Yeah.
I want to do a show where I
like a murderer.
I go to these people's houses and then they show me how proud they are of their collection. Like, this is the entire series of Survivor from episode 1, and they show me. I'm like, yeah. And then at the end, I'm like, what do you think is going to happen to all this stuff when you die? Your kids or anybody, they're just going to punt it all in the trash.
No, it's just fuel when your house catches on fire to make you burn faster.
And all of this can be found on the internet. It's all obsolete. All this is mental illness. You
know what's real mental illness? Real mental illness is having Dawson's Creek, like you bought Dawson's Creek, but also having it that you taped Dawson's Creek. I think my wife has Dawson's Creek every season on VHS, and then has her version of Dawson's Creek that she taped herself as a young girl. That's crazy.
Why is she holding on to it?
Don't know. Ask her the last time she watched Dawson's Creek. When's the last time you fired that beauty up?
I got a resurgence, and I think it's because it's streaming now. But I did not think that teens these days would like Dawson's Creek, but they do.
Here is my wife's justification. This is pointed at you, Tom. She says in the chat room, as Maisie grows up, she is showing me more and more that she won't care when I show her. Oh, okay. She's agreeing with me.
No,
all right.
What? That she's
Maisie doesn't give a damn about any of your stupid shows.
No, well, it's not because they can all be found on the internet.
Yes.
So there's no reason to have a physical copy of anything.
Is on the internet.
Don't have a physical copy of anything.
No.
Like, this is all in the internet.
James Vanderbeek, he's there too.
That guy's got a lot of kids.
Vanderbeek?
Yeah.
Did you know he's the vampire dad voice in Vampirina?
No.
Yeah, that's a weird.
He's got like 10 kids.
Yeah, he's Mr. Voiceover now.
See, I like the people that have these collections that they, and I know it's for them, and I know it's part of like it just makes them happy. So who cares?
Yeah.
But they are aware that it's all going to be thrown in the trash or sold off, or like no one's going to continue.
I did a version of this. Like, okay, my entire music collection for years, I've had every CD that I've owned has been put into a computer. I have extracted the songs, I've labeled them by hand, and then I'd put it in my iTunes. I did this for years. Hundreds, thousands of songs. I mean, thousands. Mm-hmm. Gig upon gig upon gig. At one point, Dan Stone from Real Radio asked me how many gigs of music I had on a hard drive. And the highest I ever got it up to of every single song I owned was like almost 70 gigs of music that I had. And then I realized that all of it's on Spotify and all of it is on Apple Music. And then as I continued to plug in new hard drives and use new computers, it all got scrambled and screwed up. So then when I went back to my master hard drive, all of it was just a bunch of junk. It was all just like mislabeled and garbage and duplicates. And I just said, enough! And I threw it away. I threw it all away because I don't need it. I don't need it anymore. I don't need a hard drive with all my music on it. You know, I have vinyl that I keep. I have that. But every song that I have is just now in a playlist. It's somewhere in the cloud. There's no need for me to own it. I don't need a copy of it in case, the internet goes down. I guess I'll just have no music then. It's fine.
Did it make you mad? You
It made me so mad.
So much time
Can you
into
hear
doing
it?
Yeah.
It makes me want to cry. Like, seriously, it makes me so sad to think. I mean, Whopper Jr. would love...
You wasted your life.
Would you guys ever do this? Like, Whopper Jr., Justin Clark, our buddy with Cigar City, he would, say, hey, I know I have some CDs you don't have. He had some really obscure, punk albums. He would give me a CD case for, a weekend, and then it was up to me to spend my hard-earned time to burn all of his CDs into my collection and label them so I'd have his music, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter. All of it's out there. Doesn't matter. Hours upon hours wasted. I would just get beer and sit in my computer and label it. I'm sitting here labeling. Oh, my collection is so good. Everybody has an amazing collection.
I want to give a prize out to the person that's wasted their life the most, doing something. Because I remember
Remy.
I drove to school with my buddy Logic Man Andy one time to UCF, and I took a turn and I went the way I always went, and he's like, hey, if you turned 2 blocks earlier, you get there faster, right? And then I'd been taking the same route for 2 years. I could have gotten to class 10 minutes earlier another way, and then I screamed, I wasted my life. And then,
but did you change?
No, yeah.
See, I never do. I go,
I changed after I
said my way.
But I wasted 10 minutes of my day every single day for 2 years, and I'm sure people have done that in so much time. It's sad, years.
Oh yeah,
years.
Hey, if
of
you got
life
one of those,
wasted.
show at tomanddan.com. We gotta take a break or go at it. We gotta
Bye.
It is another corporate time with Tom and Dan. I am Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer, is here. Good evening and happy Friday to you, Miss Thing.
Good evening.
How are
and
you?
happy Friday.
How are you?
I'm thinging it up, I guess.
Nobody
quick,
says Miss Thing anymore, right?
No, that's old man.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring everything back, old man.
We are doing a live podcast at the beginning of the hurricane party in Sanford at the West End. You can get tickets at tomanddan.com. Just click on the giant banner up top.
Yep.
Again, you have to have tickets for the hurricane party, which you can get on tomanddan.com through the ticket link, but it's only $25 extra for our live podcast. It comes with a free Hurricane Party shirt, 2 free drinks, and of course the podcast. And all that's happening May 28th, and we're doing the podcast at noon.
And we're bringing some outliers, bringing some weapons of mass destruction for the stage.
Yeah, Sam's coming.
Yep, Sam's coming.
Hey.
Are we bringing Jolly?
I haven't contacted.
I thought we were bringing
I don't have a
Jolly.
cell phone.
Do you want whistling toothpicks to be there?
I want
yeah.
picks. It's whistling picks.
Yeah.
We gotta have picks there.
So I heard this story, and I did not research into it because I wanted to wait till we talked about it on the show.
Okay.
And it was a story about the guy that landed the Cessna plane, using just the advice or the instruction of the air traffic controller.
Of a dying air traffic. Right. The guy was having a medical emergency.
Well, no, the pilot was.
Or the pilot was.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
That's what I mean. It's so was the pilot guiding him, or was the air traffic controller was helping him as the pilot laid in the back
Okay, well, so the story was, and this is what I just know of the story. The story is...
I got it ready to go when you're ready.
Yeah. The 2 men were in a Cessna plane, and the pilot had some sort of medical emergency, right? Which rendered him useless, or he may be unconscious, and this is where my skepticism comes. I don't know. And then the passenger who was just flying with the pilot had no flying experience and had to call the air traffic controller and be coached to land the plane safely.
Right.
Was it the Fort Lauderdale Airport or something like that?
Palm Beach International.
Palm Beach International Airport.
And then everybody is talking about the story and playing the communication between the air traffic controller and the actual gentleman that landed the plane. And we could play some of the story, but then I'll tell you my theory after.
Okay, here is the story. This is courtesy.
Because it could be wrong.
This is courtesy of 25 WPBF.
This is not your ordinary landing of a plane.
You just witnessed a couple passengers land that plane.
That voice is air traffic control at Palm Beach International Airport.
Did you say the passengers landed the airplane? That's correct. Oh my gosh, great job.
Great job doesn't begin to describe this. The landing of this Cessna Caravan comes at 12:30 Tuesday afternoon at PBIA. But let's rewind a little to when the person on board this plane first radioed air traffic control in Fort Pierce.
I've got a serious situation here. My pilot has gone incoherent. I have no idea how to fly the airplane.
Roger, what's your position?
I have no idea. I can see the coast of Florida in front of me, and I have no idea.
Maintain wings
He's
level
pretty
and
chill,
just try to
dude.
follow the...
Well,
I'd be freaking the hell out.
Now, to be up there, have they said, or maybe I'm tuning this out, is this guy a pilot in training?
No, he's just a passenger.
So he said he had no experience whatsoever.
I don't believe that. He's too calm.
Okay, so I'll tell you my theory, right? So,
I mean, he's pretty good with a radio for a guy that's never been on a plane.
Now, I need to research more into
You want to
this.
finish this?
Yeah,
okay,
you can.
a little bit more.
The coast, either north or southbound. We're trying to locate you.
4 minutes later.
You guys located me yet? I can't even get my nav screen to turn on. It has all the information on it. You guys got any ideas on that?
Eventually, radar locates the plane just off the coast of Boca Raton, and that's where air traffic control at PBIA takes over, talking the passenger through an incredibly safe landing.
This is the first time I've ever heard of one of these being landed by somebody who has no aeronautical experience.
Aviation expert John Nance says it's not the first time he's heard of a passenger landing a plane, but it is the first time for a plane as large and as complicated as the Caravan.
The person on the airplane who had no aeronautical experience listened very carefully and obviously followed instructions with great calm. That's what made the difference.
Wow, what do you think about that? All right, that's the end of the piece.
Okay, so...
Fake!
This all stems from... Did you hear about the YouTuber that crashed his plane in the mountains of... I think it was California or something like that?
He did it for the clicks, right?
And
all fake?
Well, he jumped out of it
Everything's
with a
fake now.
parachute.
Like, everybody's in a wheelchair fake. My mom's dead fake. Everything's fake.
So I'm not sure if he's been charged with this or if they could ever prove it, but I guess there's high speculation that this YouTuber basically took his plane up and then pretended to have a malfunction and then jumped out of his plane to save his life or whatever. The plane crash landed
But he
into the
didn't
mountains.
need to do that, did he?
And a lot of people, I guess, people that watched the clip, basically accused him of there was nothing wrong,
Yeah.
or all the things that they
can
know.
tell.
Yeah. Like they are internet detective. They're like,
Well,
this
there's
doesn't add up.
logs.
Yeah.
The one thing I do know about planes and computers is that, and I've learned this from our own computers, there are logs of failures, and that's how you figure out when things are going wrong. You just pull the log, and then you look to see if something failed, and I'm guessing nothing failed.
Well, maybe in bigger airplanes, I don't know about, this may have been a self-built Cessna, or they've got kit planes where you can build your own airplane.
Experimental planes.
I'm not sure, but you're right. A lot of them have some
Even the smallest
log.
ones do, because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
need to know what's happening. It's very, very serious.
So anyway, but this guy... I apparently did this on YouTube for clicks and to become famous. Now, I'm not saying that these people did this. So first thing I'm skeptical about is when someone has a problem, they say he has a medical problem, and he was rendered incapacitated.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what is it? Did he have a heart
They
attack?
have not come out with that yet. I find that very interesting.
The first thing did
he have a diabetic episode?
That's what I thought.
He did tell the 2 passengers that were on the plane prior to him passing out, basically, that he was not feeling well, and then he basically passed out into the controls.
I'm not feeling well. I went a little hard on my auto blow before we got up here. Oh, I'm getting lightheaded.
Because I do know from experience, my stepdad, when he'd have a diabetic episode, he would become he was conscious still, but he was like it was
There's
blacked
nothing
out.
there,
There was
yeah.
nothing there. Like he'd be awake, but he couldn't function. Like
Right.
basically, he would have an episode or whatever.
Okay,
now
this-
I thought that they didn't let pilots maybe they do let pilots with diabetes fly or whatever.
I don't know.
like-
They won't let me get a helicopter pilot license because I take anxiety medication.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
that. The thing in this article that really bothers me is the opening line. It says, it says that in a published blog, the FAA said the pilot, quote, told his 2 passengers he wasn't feeling well. He fell against the controls, putting the aircraft into a nosedive and a sharp turn. Now, that's the quintessential, you're shot at a stoplight and you're...
Right,
your head
right.
goes into the horn. Bang!
Yeah.
So, just like you would think... and then they said... No, that's what it says. It says, the blog said, one passenger grabbed the controls, pulled the plane out of its nosedive, and radioed air traffic control. I say... fake. Because I don't think as that guy falls on it, you're going to be like, whoa, grab the controls and even it out. Oh, okay, we're good enough. Well, I can just hold this stable until we run out of gas. I don't think it works like that. You got foot pedals, you got flaps. There's a lot going on there. It's not just you fall in the controls nosedive. I'll just pull back. We're good.
Now, once you're flying, I do know, like, from lots of stories, like back when there was less, people watching or whatever. Like, I've heard stories from my uncles and even like
they
people
let
in my
you
family.
fly.
No, like my father-in-law.
the dog's flying.
Like he used to have his pilot's license. You fly, and then you just let your friends. Like once you're up there, you could let them take the control and fly around. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't. Like they could take the control and move it around and maintain it steady. Like it was easy. Like takeoff and landing is the most complicated
Of
part.
course, yeah.
So I mean, that's part of the story. Besides from like we didn't find out what's wrong with the guy, is like all right. I could see them pulling up the controller. Plus, if you're sitting next, like there's two.
There's 2 sticks.
There's 2 controllers, like for the pilot and like a co-pilot or passenger that doesn't touch it if he's a passenger. So you can fly in the co-pilot seat. But the problem to me is like
I believe that's called a yoke.
The guy.
That's how much Microsoft Flight Simulator I play, folks.
Like, what kind of medical problems have you seen where the person passes out? If it's not like, unless he's dead or whatever, passes out and doesn't regain consciousness for all this time until they land. You know what I'm saying?
Did they move his body? There's no mentioning.
They didn't be like, wake up!
Right, this is what I want, and I'm not hearing it. This
know.
is what I want, I'm not hearing it. I want, and it's not in here, I want them, instead of just saying he passed out on the controls, nosedive, then we grabbed it, pulled the nose back, and then they talked us in. That's too easy. I want... fell on the controls, nosedive. We had to carry him. We had to put our arms under him and drag him off the controls. Then we evened out the plane. But you're not mentioning that. You know why? Fake.
And
that's why.
Why didn't they try to wake up the pilot? Like, why?
Maybe they did.
You got smelling salt? You got a first aid kit? They always have those little things you break and you wave the ammonia under his nose.
But there is the whole log of conversation, recording a conversation. You can listen to the whole thing on YouTube, by the way. Like the conversation. I
For a
haven't
lot
listened
of
to
planes. I usually listen
But
to only crashes on YouTube.
Was there
Real
any
sad.
like? Why didn't the air traffic controller get some sort of EMT or some medical professional on the line to try to wake up the pilot? Be like, all right,
No chance now. He's gone. We have to save the people on board now.
If he's having a diabetic episode, you could wake him up instantly.
Well,
if
they
he
don't know what he was having.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, wouldn't they get a medical
Do
professional
they
on
have
there?
medical professionals at air traffic control?
Well, they can patch him into a.
I think they're
a
going to try and get the
911.
plane down. I don't think they're going to try and
Yeah,
administer.
I mean, at that point, you're just trying to survive.
Yeah, I think they're just
not
trying
wake
to get
the guy up.
plane down.
Well, your best chance of survival is to have the pilot wake up, though. Like,
Can't disagree with that, but
You know
I
what I'm
don't.
saying?
But I don't think that. I think they're trying to work with what they think is 100%, and the communication between air traffic controller and lucid person in plane is 100%. Even if you
Yeah,
woke that pilot up, he may be too weak or too incapacitated to still fly the plane. So that's wasted
And
effort and
you're
time.
also you're gonna be trying
got
a bunch of
time.
different stuff because you don't know why he's passed
Well, you have
out.
limited time. You need to act fast.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
just let this guy putt around up there all day.
well, not all day, but it's like, well, how much gas do you have? All right, you got a half a tank of gas. You can maintain a circle pattern or whatever. Like, while you're
They
flying.
pushed him out. I didn't know that.
What do you mean?
They pushed the pilot out of the plane. And then they just landed it. They're just like, we can't. This is useless. Get him
Dead
out of here.
weight.
Yeah.
So between the time that this call went in to the air traffic control and the time he landed. It was only 10 minutes, dude. They didn't have a lot of time.
Well, they did,
I
but
just
they
think
only
like,
took 10 minutes.
Is your pilot diabetic? Does he have a little glucose thing in his front pocket?
he
That's what my
does.
stepdad,
does,
squeeze that in his mouth
Yeah.
and it'll wake him up. I seen my mom do it with my stepdad where he's...
He has a Jolly Rancher in his beehole.
Did you listen to the whole call?
No, I
Oh,
didn't.
okay.
We like to go off half-cocked. What do you... You're going to ruin the show
Again,
if you
I
read
didn't
the whole thing.
hear the whole thing. I just am skeptical.
I think it's fake. The whole thing's fake.
I think it's real.
It seems to me
the other thing that's
a
fake...
great way to get attention, right?
You know,
it's
the other-
awesome story. It makes this guy a hero. I don't know. Like,
Here's the
thing.
other part that's fake. 100%
I
fake.
can fake this tomorrow with a person that pretended to be incapacitated and like I land the plane. Like maybe they knew, maybe the guy from his buddy. Okay, like
No, this is why it's fake.
All right.
And this phrase only. This is why it's fake. Is because it's so fake to at the end of it come on there and go, you just witnessed a couple of passengers landing that plane.
That's how those guys talk, though.
Well,
That is so fake.
The air traffic controller's not in on it. I don't, I'm saying the guy.
The whole thing was orchestrated to get some press and get some likes for the TikTok of that particular airport. Airport TikTok.
No. The airport didn't have anything to do with it. I'm saying
airport TikTok.
I'm saying like if me, okay, if I was Danny Bonaducci and
I wish you were Danny Bonaducci.
and I want to get ultimate press for the podcast, right? So me and there's a pilot in town. There's plenty of pilots that I know.
understand.
And we orchestrate this thing like, hey, let's fly around the Cessna, and then I will call in.
And I'll lead out of the helicopter and I will spray poo on the Hollywood side.
And maybe the guy says, like, the pilot's like, I'll play into it. And then say to everybody I had a medical problem.
But I'll be there the whole time to hold your hand. That's what I think happened.
And then you can listen to the air traffic
And
controller.
we'll be heroes.
And because maybe I've said this before, like with a pilot, I think I'm like, could you teach me how to like? I think I've asked a pilot before if he could walk me through.
Your
through the
sister-in-law
headsight.
has flown being walked through with a pilot because she's like getting her
Yeah,
pilot's
pilot's license,
license.
yeah.
But I know she knows enough with the pilot sitting next to her to fly us wherever we want to go because she's super smart.
And
that's what I think happened. I think you're right.
And I think they knew, like, if you follow the steps, you could easily land this plane, and then the story will be because in any other scenario, landing a plane without any professional experience or training or whatever is super irresponsible.
tell you-
you would
Well,
be.
it says that he has never flown a plane, but he has been around aviation and seen other pilots fly. Think about this: he's some rich dude coming from the Bahamas. He's probably on private planes all the time, and he's like, he's not unfamiliar.
Yeah, he's seen how it
He's just
kind of
never
works.
actually flown one
I
himself.
guarantee you, I get up there if I were
So I
rich.
think it's real.
I get up there and chirp to these guys enough. I would gain enough pilot chirper knowledge to fly a plane.
Yeah. It's like skydiving. I watched Andy for so many years.
Hundreds of skydiving.
Pack the chute that I think I could, not now because it's been so long, but there was a time where I was like, I could probably, with no instruction, probably pack the chute where the person would survive if they pulled it.
I believe that.
Because I saw
So
how-
now are you turning your story into you think it's real now?
No, I still think it's fake. I still think it's orchestrated. But I do think he landed the plane.
Well,
We're using the wrong term.
They'll
Not
easily
fake.
be able to figure that out.
Not
right?
fake, orchestrated. No, you can't prove orchestrated.
Well,
the guy's
how-
going to be like, oh,
Is there
just-
not cameras on the plane?
No, I don't think
so.
Or a black box?
Maybe a black
to see
box.
that it actually did nosedive.
Well, it
and
may
everything?
have, but again, orchestrated.
Yeah, I'm just saying I am a
For
skeptic.
who though? For who?
Staged for them, for their own, just to see
But
if
they're
they
not
could
even
do it.
releasing their names.
Doesn't matter.
That's where I'm like,
Still under
if-
investigation because it's staged. That's why they're not releasing the names.
If the guy, like obviously it does, he sounded as if maybe he's not a YouTuber or like this is not for social media. But I am just skeptical of
I think it's a dad prank.
the pilot. Now, unless we find out, and if they tell us later, like, oh, the pilot had a heart attack or fell into some sort of diabetic episode, and that's what the reason, and that's proven, then then it's back to real. I'm skeptical now
Yeah, I'm
because
skeptical.
it's so grandiose.
I need to see a picture of the guy who landed the plane, then I can tell you if it's real or not. Because
There's pictures-
I do everything based on people's looks. I can look right into your eyes and see if you were telling the truth or not.
And the guy sounded so calm that maybe that's what makes me.
He looks like a lawn maintenance guy.
See, because
I'm super skeptical.
I need to talk to another pilot to be like,
I'm usually the most skeptical person, and I'm the one that believes
you
it.
believe this? You
I do.
trust two dumb old men in a plane? And where are the other? How many passengers were on there?
It was just two. So it was the pilot and two passengers from what I'm reading.
So who was there's a mystery person. Who's the mystery person? Because we got pilot, we got guy who landed. Who's the other person? That's who we need to talk to. Person of interest.
The reason, the initial thing that caused me to be skeptical is that all they said is the pilot was rendered incapacitated, which is a weird verbiage, because usually they said like the pilot had a heart attack or the pilot fell into a diabetic coma. You know, it's like, the fact that they didn't know or they didn't like let us know is odd to me. Like, what rendered incapacitated? How many people do you know have been rendered incapacitated while you were standing next to them?
Is this a HIPAA thing? Like, we don't want to release what this guy.
Well, they didn't release their names. You could say
they're not releasing anything.
You could say anything
well, it
you
just
want.
happened yesterday, so maybe information will come out.
Skeptical. We're skeptical.
Because, like, even the YouTuber that crashed his plane and whatever, and, like, the reason why everybody is so skeptical of that guy is because he had a bunch of cameras and he documented the whole thing. So he released a video of him jumping out of the plane, and then I think actually had video of the plane, like he recovered the GoPros of like crashing into the mountain or whatever. But then everybody was skeptical about it, and then it turns out like, oh, well, this, you know, and there's a reason, like, how many times have you ever heard, and they said it's happened before, but like of pilots being rendered incapacitated and someone else having to land the plane?
Not very often, ever.
Like, you know, so
so the other passenger was his pregnant wife.
The guys that landed the plane's pregnant wife.
Wait a minute, that makes me want to believe it a little more now. Because why would you have your pregnant wife
on the plane while you're doing
a stunt? If it were fake, you wouldn't.
No, well, to be an ultimate hero, he saved his pregnant wife.
I'm back in.
Like,
Thank you.
For the story, the guy landed the plane.
It does sound a lot juicier with a pregnant wife.
All right. And then,
man, I like being stupid with you. This is fun.
Yeah.
I'm kind of okay. I'm with it.
And so I just need to know what happened to the pilot before I can correctly determine if this is fake or not.
I want to know what made him. It's got to be diabetes. Gotta be.
And is it that easy to land a plane with no, like, you know, this guy's been around.
They said it wasn't easy. They said it was a miracle.
Okay,
well, that's why I'm skeptical.
No.
A miracle.
It's not a miracle. What if I had Andrea's? We have access to planes and helicopters. In Andrea's family, they are plane and helicopter crazy.
Okay, yeah.
What if I got you? Because, I mean, the
only way to prove it is for me to fly up there.
And I will dress as your pregnant wife, even though I hate planes. But it's going to be juicier if I'm up there. So I'm pregnant wife. I got a basketball under my shirt. I got a wig on. I got a sundress on.
I like how we're going to be in court, and then the lawyer's going to be.
Well, we killed him.
Because they're going to be like, sir, so it is documented that you are afraid of flying, and you're like, yes, I am. And you're like, but you got up dressed like a pregnant lady, and to prove
you and Tom killed a pilot, threw him out over the ocean,
and then you try to see if Tom Van can land the plane.
Yeah,
and then you're like, yes, I did.
We could do it right here at Executive. We could call her Uncle Dan. He's a great man. He's an expert pilot, and then we could have him play the part of the pilot, and he could fake like he passes out.
Then we got a guy in the chat that went to high school with this guy.
Get us an interview.
Oh, well, call up.
Well, he said he didn't really know him that well, but he did go to high school.
Well, as long as you didn't bully him, he's just email, hey, long time no see. Don't say that, though, because you'll get canceled.
Yeah, well, this guy is for sure going to do the media rounds, right?
Depends on if he's embarrassed, because a lot of dumb old men, if this is real, that's why they don't want their names out.
He doesn't look that old.
It's surprising that some articles say
it says he declined all media interviews.
Yeah.
I think it's real.
See, the fact that he declined it means it's fake.
I'll explain the same thing.
Please explain.
Because if you're explaining, you're losing. And if they're going to ask for details, and he doesn't have them.
Yes.
He doesn't have details.
Yeah, if it was real, you take all the media you want, right? You'd be like, I did this, and they ask you all, you answer the truth.
They'll drill you down, right? And then you'll get into a corner, and you won't know where to go, and then you'll be like, I'm sorry, I lied.
If it was really real, he would do media. Like something, because he'd tell people like, "Oh my God, that's great!" Like if it happened to me, I would like, even though if I didn't want
Palm Beach Sheriff is pinning a purple heart on you.
I was
You're
just
a hero.
Yeah, you saved your pregnant wife and then the pilot's life by landing the plane,
and then you're like, "We're gonna name our baby Aviator."
And then, but if it was fake, you'd be too afraid because you'd have some Tom Van drilling you down and be like, "Wait a minute, what did the guy suffer from?" And then why didn't you try to wake him up? You didn't check for a glucose
and then you'd be
thing?
mad. You'd be like, "We got a Tom Van out there. He's really drilling me down. I'm not going back out there. You got to do the press conference." And I'm like, I'm sweating my wig off. I can't be this pregnant woman anymore.
So now he's just a legend in like the aviation world, and like there's all this press that this guy's a hero. But
there's no other skeptical aviators out there that heard this and went, wait a second.
Because
I mean, they're investigating it.
Yeah, of course they are, because it's fake.
Because they have to investigate anything.
I'm trying to think of something.
The FAA does. They can't screw around. In fact, as a person that doesn't necessarily love flying, I'm glad that they don't screw around. Thank you.
Dude, like, for instance, even... I guess if someone was walking me through it, that's the problem. Like
I can fly.
You have someone walking,
to do it, dude. Out of anybody on this show.
Well, how easy? That's what I'm saying.
I would be able to do it.
Instructions?
I even know where.
Like, don't you have to have any feel for landing?
I know where all the buttons are just from what I've been training for on MS Flight. I'm your guy.
So my question: we need to talk to a pilot. That's what we need.
We have a lot of pilots that listen to this show. I like them. They're very even keel. They're logical, and they give me the real about flying. They're like, "You're an idiot. It's very safe."
I mean, I can call my, Alex. She knows how she's flown solo before in Cessna planes. Like, so she's landed, taken off by herself. Like,
Uncle Dan let me spit on my house from his helicopter.
I've asked her this. I think at my house, I was like, if I just got in the plane, like, okay,
yeah, she said she could talk you through it. I was there
because
we were drunk at your house for a pool party.
The first time I ever went skydiving, I told my buddy Logic Man, because he's a professional skydiver, he took me tandem, right? And I said, don't give me any instruction whatsoever. And he's like, all right. And I'm like, don't tell me nothing.
I was also here for this, Sam. This is a true story.
And then I'm like, because you don't need any actual instruction. Like when you go tandem, they put you through like an hour class, and you know what I'm saying?
You're like, watch a lot of
it's
videos.
All BS.
The joy of skydiving.
And he's like, nah, you don't need it. So I was like, don't tell me anything. Nothing. I need to know. And he's like, all right. And we went up there. He's like, he strapped me in or whatever. And then he's like, walk to the edge and jump out. And so I walked with him to the edge and we jumped out. I didn't even know what to do with my arms or whatever.
Yeah,
it
they
didn't
were
matter.
whacking him in the eyes.
It did not matter. And so is it easier than we think, though, to land a plane?
Once you get up there. Yeah. And I bet landing it. I
heard taking off is easier because it's just, you put the flaps up and you just give it gas.
I put the flaps up.
But landing, there's a certain sequence to go through. But I thought
Didn't the landing look really good to you? I watched the video of the guy landing, and I say it was a ginger landing where that front wheel just kind of, it was just perfect.
It was perfect.
And I'm like, wait a minute. I've landed a lot of MS Flight planes, and they never come down quite that easy.
Like, you would think his first time ever landing a plane, like, I've talked to Alex when she was learning and going through, and she went through, 100 hours of flight time and with an instructor or whatever before she did it solo, and landing is the hardest part, and there was times where she was gumming in to land.
And you got to pass it.
And then she had to take off, even, like, bump landing where she was going to, like, too fast.
Touch and go.
Like, this guy perfectly landed it without...
One time.
Come
on.
And now he won't give any interviews?
Now, is it possible?
Can't win with you two.
Now, wait a minute. What if it's a hybrid of what we're saying? What if the man that was incapacitated was only like slightly incapacitated? He's in the back just like, I'm like in and out. And then as the guy's flying.
Oh, he's like, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, he's like, hold on, just move for a second. I can work in like 12-second bursts. And he's like, all right, I got it. All right, you take it. I'm getting sick. Okay, I got it. And then like when he's going for the landing, he's like, all right, bring it up 2 degrees. Okay, break it down. All right, pull the throttle back. Give it a little more gas. Like, I feel like there's more to this story. Because when you watch the guy land the plane, he lands it perfectly.
Sam, when you look up the pilot, like, what have they said about the pilot? Is he in the hospital right now? Is he?
Yeah, well, they took him to the hospital, and they just said they haven't released, like, what was wrong with him.
He had a fart attack.
Well, that's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, it's a little odd.
Yeah.
Nothing? You want a little gas? Where'd you go?
Like, if you
Buffalo Wild Wings and getting
Maybe he doesn't want to release to the public.
Well, the public demands he releases it because we're skeptical.
Well, yeah. They don't have to release his name, but what happened to him?
Fart attack or he crapped his pants.
Well, we also need to know for the safety of passengers who fly in airplanes, like what happened to this guy? Because if this happened to another guy and me and Daniel were passengers, we die. Because I can't follow instructions and Daniel will be paralyzed with anxiety.
I think I would be able to land it. If you could keep me calm, I could land it. And there's only one way for you to keep me calm. You're not going to like it.
No, yeah. I'll be like, we're too high for this.
I feel like you're going to have to do it.
First, I'd scream, we're too high for this. So second, I'd be like, you're better off just crash landing into the water because the water, in my mind, is softer.
But before we crashed, I would loop it around a little bit and see some stuff. Right? You got to loop it around. Would you wait till you run out of gas or would you try to land it?
It just seems like because we joke around about this all the time. Like who knows how to fly? I've said this before.
Is there a pilot on this plane?
Daniel, I've said before, like you've done so much of the MS flight.
Yeah.
I was like, do you think you could even stand a chance landing like an airplane?
Only if you kept me calm. If you could keep me calm, I think I could land the plane.
Because then, if this story is true, I will say this: if it is true, I'm taking pilots down 2 notches.
You're putting them down near dentists? No!
Because
we got a meeting soon.
If just some guy can land a plane with no training and just from instructions from the air traffic controller, not that hard.
He did sound really calm. Really calm.
If this guy did it, not that hard. I'm taking you down 2 notches, pilots.
And they even said this was a difficult plane to land because of its size and speed and everything. Its telemetry or whatever they were saying in the article. They're like, this particular plane would be very difficult to land if you have no aeronautical experience. It's like, well, wait a minute. You guys are blowing this thing up to make it like the biggest thing that anybody's ever done in the world.
Obviously not that difficult. This guy did it.
Yeah.
Unless he is exaggerating.
And he's an interior designer with a pregnant wife.
How little experience he has.
The pilot's condition is stabilized, but the medical emergency is still unclear what it was.
Was he awake?
What if he was just wasted? Drug overdose?
Don't say that.
No.
Oh my God.
No, I don't think. I mean,
that'll take you out.
It will, but I mean, most pilots, I think, are responsible enough to.
They're super logical, boring.
I don't know. I watched that movie with Denzel. He wasn't responsible.
Well, it was the beer that made him able to do the.
That was his superpower. No beer, and he's crashing it.
The alcohol didn't cause the plane to have. Like, it wasn't the alcohol's fault. The alcohol made him calm enough to fly it upside down.
That was a movie. I'm talking about real life.
I forgot about that.
That was real life. That happened. The guy
Not all of that.
I know, but he flew upside down and you were drunk. So that part was true, right? He flew upside down drunk.
And he lived to tell about it.
He wasn't drunk, but he had a couple beers.
And he lived.
Yeah.
Which also adds to your argument that it's not that hard if you can fly it upside down drunk with a bunch of people on it. Like, whatever. No big deal.
So it's either not that hard or this is fake. One or the other. Can't have both. You can't. Well, how could you have both?
What if this guy just did a really good job?
No one does a good job.
Well, again, you had every old man air traffic controller that they interviewed was saying, I've never seen anything like this before. Do you want to know why they've never seen it before, Sam? It's because it's not real.
Yeah.
That's why.
This would happen more often if this was somehow real.
How many planes are in the sky right now?
Yeah.
How many?
Thousands.
And you mean to tell me there's not one person incapacitated right now?
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah. Well, because when that happens, you rocket to the Earth, and then the story is the pilot died, and they rocketed to the Earth, dead. Anyway,
all right. Let's do one more.
I know.
What's wrong?
No. I'm not backpedaling.
What are you doing? I hear some regret.
This was just my initial thought. We'll see what happens. It could come out that this is 100% true.
Well, here's what I will say.
It stinks.
My decision on what I think this is undecided until I hear what the medical emergency was. And I'm not trying to pry into your business or anything, and it is your business, and we may never know. But if we never know, I'm always going to be a little doubtful.
And if the guy never does any interview with anybody or even tells his story,
you might as well be DB Cooper.
Then I'm skeptical too. Because
take
it's like,
it to your grave.
What do you hide? Like, I understand people are private, but it's like this story.
Maybe he doesn't want to relive that traumatic experience where him and his pregnant wife almost died.
Too calm.
He wasn't even freaking out. Yeah. Like, if my pregnant, I'll be
but then you're in like.
We're all gonna die.
I mean, like, my pregnant wife is up here. I will never get to see my baby. Help.
Also,
I'm crying.
if it was real, my pregnant wife would be like, "I'm gonna fly this. You're an idiot." Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's true. Do you hear her in the background?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't. She's awfully
I don't know,
quiet.
we haven't listened to the whole goddamn call.
She's
We're
awfully
just
quiet.
doing a snippet, and Tom's saying everything's fake.
You'd be screaming like,
I need
"We're gonna die, my baby!"
Yeah, I need my baby, my baby. I need at least 3 or 4 of those in there.
I'm just putting it out there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Another hot topic is oddities. We've been talking about a lot of oddities.
Hey friends, it's Zach from Ohio. You were talking about Ripley's Believe It or Not and oddities and their popularity. Well, Andrea and I just went to an oddities expo in Columbus. And Andrea bought a gopher skull. She bought a snake skeleton. And she bought a coyote skull. And I think she spent about $200 on all 3 of these things. Actually, no, I think it was $300 on all 3 of these things. But she, before this, had a bat skeleton that's like hangs upside down.
Where are we at on skeleton people? People that have skeletons in their homes, right? It's a little trashy, right? It's a little trashy.
Yeah. I was about to scream, "You're a grown adult. Why do you have skeletons?"
It's a little little kids can have it on a shelf, you know, because they're curious about the way things work and they don't know about sex. And,
Yeah. If you're a grown adult, you're buying a gopher skeleton. Come on. What are you
baby? What are you gonna put that? You put that in your room next to your Funko Pops? Yeah, it's another thing. If you collect Funko Pops, you're baby.
I got like 5.
I know, but you're baby. You're not a collector though. You use them to offset the amount of sadness we have here at work.
And you're an
We have some
entertainer.
whimsy.
Do you have them in your studio as decorations?
They're like in our office.
Yeah. A lot of people use a piece of double-sided tape.
An artist.
She is. You're a content creator.
Yeah. I mean, you're a host. You're an artist.
You a hoe? I was like, hey, no.
Don't hit the double down button.
I ordered it today.
Yes.
Who was
I
that?
can't wait for
That's
it. to come.
ludicrous.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned Hot Topic right before you played that voicemail. Have you guys heard of the new bar in Texas called Shot Topic?
No.
So they've decorated it to look like an old school Hot Topic store.
Pretty cool.
It's very kitschy.
I love
and apparently
kitschy
it's
bars.
slammed all the time.
Can they do a chain and put them all over the place?
They probably will.
Well, we go to Shot Topic.
Can you, as Hot Topic, like
sue them?
Cease and desist? Like, hey, you are
100%.
You would think they would.
You're profiting
They may
off
not
of
want
our
to,
brand.
Though. They may not want to.
Yeah.
It's in Dallas.
It'd be better to lean into it and be like, "Hey, we'll help you out." You know, like,
and all the drinks have like, emo lyrics. I don't know. It's very.
Do you know?
But then I've seen people their TikToks where they've gone there and they're like, yeah, it's like dressed up like an old school Hot Topic, but it's all just like pop songs that they play. It's all like the main, like, What's My Age Again, Blink-182.
Oh, no, you gotta do like deep cuts fueled by ramen.
It's all
you gotta
stuff
do
that's like top 40.
You gotta weave some metal in there. You know, you gotta have like at least one Led Zeppelin song for the one Led Zeppelin shirt they had. You know what I mean? Like you gotta have
like
all
Black
that
Parade and you know.
Interesting.
Which listener his wife worked for a Hot Topic for like 50 years?
No, for Spencer's.
So Spencer.
It's Sam C.
Sam.
We love Sam.
Yeah.
Sam's the man, and he's been
Also,
listening to us for like 20
Pariah
years.
Mike's wife works for Spencer's, and she has for a long time. She's trying to raise money to get her boobies chopped off.
No,
Whoa, don't say it like that.
It's true. Her back's all messed
mean,
up,
like,
and
just to
she's
get
gonna
'em-
have to use a cane if she doesn't get this breast reduction
Cane?
surgery.
Yeah, you have to put it underneath them. Hold them up.
So check out that GoFundMe. Either me or Pariah Mike's.
They do that in Mexico or something, right? You can go cheaper route and go out of country.
You can do anything out of country.
Yeah.
Like there's people now that I wanted to talk about this Friday too, but we probably won't. Like little guys. There's a big article in I think it was Rolling Stone about short men that are going and having elective bone lengthening surgery.
Yeah. They put the rod in your legs.
Yeah,
right?
they put a rod in your legs and then they twist it, and then over like a series of 8 months to a year, you'll gain upwards of 3 inches. And I'm like, that's just not enough.
No,
it's not.
Yeah.
So if I even did this, I come out of this 5'5", and I'm like, well, what is that?
75 grand. For that
and
surgery.
you have to learn how to walk again.
What?
It's insanity, man. That people think that this is a game changer for. Look, I get it. Do whatever you want to do. If you want a boob job, nose job, if you want a face tattoo, if you want to chop your boobs off, if you want to lengthen your legs, dude, do you. But I can't see where this is a game changer. I can't see where if you walked into a room at 5'2", my height, and then you walked into a room at 5'5", given your 3 inches, learning how to walk again, 8 months of re-healing and intense pain and probably psychological damage and trauma, and you think that the world is going to suddenly open up to you because you're 3 inches taller? You're stupid.
It would turn into, instead of
stupid.
wow, you are that short, to wow.
You spent money on that?
You're oh no, you were shorter than I thought.
Right.
Like, just a little.
You're drawing attention to it.
Yeah, just a little shorter than I thought. Like, instead of screaming, short. They're still saying it to you, but it's just a
insane.
little less surprised.
It is literally insane that people would do this. To me, it is. Again, am I passing judgment? 100% I am. But I read the article, and the guy just sounds so sad, the little guy that they interviewed. I mean, like, no confidence. You know, and I don't believe that.
And that's the problem, right?
The height, you're not chasing the height, you're chasing the confidence. And I don't care how tall you are. I don't think you're going to have it. Right. Yeah. It is. It's mental. I don't think you're ever going to have it.
It's like the guy, what's that guy that like climbs mountains or whatever, and he's got no legs and almost no arms.
I know the guy you're talking about. Yeah.
You know, the guy's the most positive guy in the world or whatever. It's like, that's mental. Mm-hmm. You know, it has nothing to do. Yeah,
his strength is his brain. Yeah, your strength, you know, how confident you are, how you carry yourself, how you make friends, that's your brain. That's not 3 inches of bone rods. Good Lord.
So back to the pilot. Let's figure out. Okay, let's figure out a scam where I've always wanted to be a hero, but I'm too chicken to do it. And
you're not when are you chick? I don't think you're chicken. How are you chicken?
Well, I'd have to put myself in situations constantly that I could actually become a hero. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm never in, you know.
From zero to hero.
Great song.
It's rare that you even have the chance to become a hero. I mean,
so you want to manufacture
like
these hero guys scenario.
Did. Yes. So inspired by these guys who were fake heroes, we're going to be fake heroes.
Well, you know what I've always wanted to do is like a car goes into a lake and then I jump off into the water and then do the move where I swim down and then I open the door and pull the person out and pop up with the person.
You're like, I got one. I think there's 2 more down there.
They're dead for sure.
No, you go down there and you're pulling them up. You get them all up.
I can only get one anyway.
And then you hear after that last kid, you get is everybody breathing? They're like, yes. You're like, and then the kid goes, my dog, and you're like, I can't leave anybody. Go back down and you're looking for the dog.
Yeah. So we have to manufacture that so I can become a hero. And so we have to figure out.
So I have to run a family off the road.
No. It's you. It's going to have to be one of you.
Well, it's not going to be me.
Because
I have no confidence in you.
Well, you can get out fast. You'll be the driver, and you just flip it into the...
I'll videotape it on my phone.
That's fine.
We need a pedestrian.
We need a world star. You can stand there and film it and yell world star.
Oh, my God.
So you, Daniel, have to go
Am I wearing the lady outfit again? I want to be a pregnant woman. I specialize in pregnant women.
Shave.
Well,
I'll shave.
You have to rocket your car into some sort of body of water.
Yeah.
And then I'm there.
Do you want me to do the
I'm there fishing or
full speed?
Dude, dive off your boat.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I got
the
it.
accident.
Okay, well, no, hold on.
I could do the Sean Kingston, but I won't do blackface because I just feel like people wouldn't. Yeah, it's not the right.
Well, okay, I got it. I'm under the I-4 bridge where.
Wait a minute, that's my house.
No, where the St. Johns River and I-4 or Lake Monroe.
Okay.
So I'm there and I'm there fishing. Right, I'm just out fishing. And then Sam is
sunbathing.
Okay, yeah. You're
under I-4.
No, there's a dock around there.
Okay.
Yeah, you just walk down to the dock and catch some rays, you know.
So you just got to be ready to film it because we need to.
You're laying there, you know, you got the top undone. You don't want to.
I'm arguing with some old man that's telling me I'm dressed too scantily clad out in public, and I'm telling him mind his own business, old man.
Exactly.
Well, the guys there fishing will not argue with you if you're in there in a bikini. They will be happy.
Yeah, they will be like over the moon.
You haven't seen those videos?
Oh, yeah. So anyway.
It's usually teens, though.
So this is perfect because Andrew's car is a hunk of junk. You're waiting to blow it up anyway, right? So you
This thing.
So you take Andrew's car, right, and then you run it off. Now this is where you have to put your seatbelt on because this is going to be.
I never wear my seatbelt.
So you run it off the bridge of I-4, right, and you
Okay.
say you have some sort of medical.
Well, I do.
problem.
Medical emergency.
You have a
And
medical
these,
emergency.
these new pills they got me on have lowered my blood pressure to the point where every time I stand up, I see stars.
I'll be
That's not
waiting
good.
on my boat when you come off into the water,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Yes.
And the car will float for a minute, right? And then Sam will be like, "Oh my god!" and
Right.
start
Yeah,
filming
she
it.
stands up, but then her top falls off, and I wake up. I'm like, wow.
Then I'm like,
cured.
Then I take my shirt off and then get on the bow of my boat and dive.
You do the dive.
Yeah. The dive, and I put my arms out.
Yeah.
Arm, and then I dive down. Now
Yeah.
we'll have some.
I'm already down there with a scuba tank.
Yeah. We'll have some emergency
It's a
air
setup.
in the
It's a
back.
setup.
Yeah. So you'll be breathing.
Well, I'm already on it. I'm sitting down there. I'm breathing
No,
the air.
You're on it when you go off.
And then I'm like, you're late.
Yeah. And so I dive down there, and then we take the scuba tank off, and then we'll hide that somewhere so the police don't find it. Anyway, and then I pull you up.
They won't do a full investigation. That's Volusia County. What are you
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah.
Right.
What are you talking
You're
about?
right. Yeah.
They ain't gonna look
They'll-
at that. They'll
they'll
just
take-
let it sink to the bottom.
And then I'll be a hero. There we go.
All right,
That's
we
it.
figured it out.
Write that down. All right. Bye-bye.